Everyone is doing well today. So we're going to be kind of having a good live. I'm going to be honest and tell you what's up, Danielle, that this is probably going to be a little bit of a heavy live. So buckle up and be okay with it. Hey, Amy, what's up, Dad Jokes? How is everyone? Y'all ready for this conversation today? What's up, 2409? How many of you guys are excited to hear that a judge in California, a federal judge in California, said that Donald Trump deploying the guard in LA was unconstitutional? What's up, lead like a lady? What's up, Witch? How are you? I mean, I was pretty happy to see that. He keeps losing in court, which we expect, right? Hey, Mary Shaw, how are you? Um, yeah. What's up, Kurt? How are you? Grayson, good to see you. Hey, let me see. Janice, good to see you as well. So if you are joining me on YouTube, Substack, or Facebook, please make sure that you speak and say hello. That is what I wanted to do. 1 second, folks. I hope I'm doing this the right way. To view here, to join with questions. Okay, I'm multitasking, as you all know. So there is a Facebook post that I am putting up currently right now um, for folks, and hopefully this will help. If folks can, if somebody can grab that from my Facebook and throw it in the comments on YouTube, that would be great, I guess. I'm hoping everybody is doing okay. What's up, Win Dixie? Hey, Mel Gray. Yeah, so the reason why I'm going early is yes, this is scheduled for 11 a.m. and I have the wrong damn date up here. Don't I, though? That's what I get for using an old graphic. Give me a second. I know what day it is, y'all. I really do. I really do. Ugh. That is what I get for trying to take a shortcut and use something that I've already used. And yeah, but I forgot. I put the dates on them specifically for this reason. What's up, Dax? Hey, Lady MM, how are you? So let me do a quick edit, a quick edit, a quick edit. It'll be all right. So I'm glad that you guys are with me today. What's up, Cam? I hope that everybody is ready for today, that you all have shared and invited folks to join this conversation. I am very excited about it. Yes, I'm changing the graphic right now, so don't give me crap. I'm doing it right now as we speak. Um, so just give me a second, folks. Give me a second. Um, this is what happens when you multitask and you try to be like slick and take a shortcut and all the things that did not work, right? But it's going to be okay. Hold on, and I'm gonna answer your questions if you'll give me just a second. Pretty please. Pretty please, pretty please, pretty please. Okay, so you guys over here, you're doing just fine. It's TikTok that has the wrong graphic, right? It's okay though. It really is. I'm not worried about it at all. At all, at all. We are gonna This is the reason why I went live early. So anything that I needed to fix, adjust, or take care of, I could do so, right? So that's what I'm doing right now. Um, and then we'll go from there. All right. So now that I've done that, yay me. All right. So let me get this over here so I can put it on this side. Hi, Michelle. Good to see you. So listen, one of the reasons why I went live early is because what I am hoping people will do is to go ahead and share this, get people in the room. Hopefully, TikTok will not be mean to us with the algorithm today, and we can make it happen. What's up, Inger? Hey, Aline. Hey, Brandy. If I did not say hello, it's gonna look like I'm going away, but I'm not. I'm just grabbing a new graphic. Okay. What's up, Lisa? Hey, Wolf. How is everyone? All right. So now that I grabbed that, let's fix it up. Maybe. Let's do it. Do you guys want to know what I did today in preparation? I listened to nothing but happy music this morning because I knew that today was going to be a somewhat heavy live. And so I listened to nothing but happy music, a little bit of 90s music, a little bit of of go-go. Y'all don't know nothing about that though. Y'all don't know nothing about that. What's up, Sammy J? Y'all don't know nothing about that there go-go music, do you? Hey, Pop No Soda, Not Soda. What's up, Pamela? Good to see you guys. Thank you, Amy, for throwing that in there. So, yeah, I do too. Yeah, that DC Go Go. If you don't know nothing about that, you missing out. But yeah, so it was a lot of happy music today because I wanted to get ready for this conversation. So, um, all right, now listen, for those of you all who do not know, yes, in about 20 minutes, I'm gonna be joined by Mimi Syed, who is an emergency room physician who has done 2 missions. I call them tours because I think, she's literally serving in a combat zone. So I call them tours, right? Even though she's not military, she definitely was serving, right? And, so we're going to be joined by her to talk about her firsthand experiences and the things that she saw and did not see in Gaza. But we're also going to be sharing, and I wanted to take this opportunity after we talk with her to share some information. What's up, Jeremiah? Specifically about the history between Israel and Palestine. And the reason why I believe that this is necessary is that, yeah, she is Moon, mashallah, she is great. One of the reasons why I think this is necessary is because those of you who have been in the pro-Palestinian movement for a very long time, those of you who have been screaming free Palestine for years and years, you already know. But there are so many people that are not aware. There are so many people who are not aware that, that there are encampments that are literally like open air prisons. So many people aren't aware of the Nakba. People don't know about the Balfour Declaration. People don't know about a lot of those different things. And I say that because I didn't know about a lot of it. And so I believe that we have a responsibility to inform other people, to allow other people, to give people information that we now have. And so the more that I learn, the more that I wanna share because I believe that that's the responsibility, right? What's up, Woo Factor? Hey, Red Hot. And so we're gonna be about that business. Good morning, Jamie. And we are going to be talking about all of this. Hey, Christine, because it's important. And I feel like this. So I feel like the more that people understand what has happened in Palestine, right? The more that people will be able to grasp where we are and what it means, right? So we keep talking about how do we get people to understand. And let me just see if I can share this with you all. And I would love your feedback and your take and what you think about this. So I think that yes, the images coming out of Palestine will get people's attention, right? It will get, but and let me say this. And I think that it will be temporary because there's no understanding of what is behind those pictures, right? You hear what I'm saying? I think that, when people see these images coming out of Palestine and they see the women and the children and the men and they see all of those things, of course, it gets people's attention. And yes, it makes people sad. And yes, it makes people go, "Oh, this needs to stop." But I don't know that it means, I don't know that what it does is help people understand that it doesn't just need to stop, like, there doesn't just need to be a ceasefire, that there needs to be so much more than that. And the reason why it doesn't is because there's no understanding, right, of what actually has taken place and how we got to where we are. And so I think that as we share more information and as we explain how we got to where we are and exactly what is happening and all of that, then it creates an understanding that builds connection and it puts us in a better position to get people to want a permanent solution, and not just a permanent solution that Israel wants or that Christian Zionists want, or any of those types of things. And so we will be talking not today, not right now, about Speaker Mike Johnson's visit to Israel. We will be talking about where he specifically visited, that location, what they believe has to happen at that location, where this temple has to be rebuilt in order for the end times to happen. We'll talk about all of that, but not right now. We will get there though, because let me just tell y'all something. Um, no, I haven't gone down the JFK Palestine rabbit hole. Hey, good morning, Mom. Buenos dias, Mr. Barrios. but we will get there 100%. And because it's important, right? So, hey, Nance, right, in the West Bank moon. So, listen, the Speaker of the House does not get to. Do you all understand that this is literally Christian Zionism? That is the reason the United States government is participating. Not all of it. Yes, the red heifers and all the things. Um, but it's this belief that all of this has to happen. And so, because Christianity is part of it, right? Because Christianity is part of it, then we have to talk about it from a Christian perspective, right? That's what we're going to do, and we have to do that. And so, it might be uncomfortable for some people, but that's okay. That is absolutely okay. To the weak ass man with baby carrot energy, that I sent the direct invitation to join my panel, do so, or your next vulgar comment will have you be muted, booted, and blocked. Um, Kenneth W. Chris, whether what my religious belief is actually none of your business. So, yeah, I'm not interested in what people say. I know people who claim to be Christian that don't follow the principles of Jesus Christ all day long. So, I have no need for people who like to virtue signal and say, "Oh, I'm a Christian." And are you? Do you live as a Christian? Do you live your life by the principles of Christianity? Do you follow the guidelines of Jesus Christ? Because if not, I'm not interested. If you say, "Oh, I'm a Christian," I don't care what people say. I watch what people do. I watch how they live. I'm not interested in labels at all. What's up, Scott? So, so you can have a different view all day long. Yeah, you can have a different view all day long. What you're gonna do in this space though is you're gonna do four things, right? The very first one is you're gonna be respectful. The second one, you're not gonna use slurs of any kind, right? If you use slurs, you'll be muted and booted, right? The third is you won't spam my comments, right? And number four is you won't type in all caps because all caps are reserved for my moderators and my folks that are vision impaired. Now, as long as you can be here and be respectful, you are welcome to join the panel. You are welcome to participate in this conversation, all the things, right? But the minute that you're not respectful, then you'll be out of here. Yeah, the no comment spamming. That means, so for example, sometimes people will come in here and they'll say FDT, right? And they'll say it 20 times. I don't need you to do that 20 times. I don't need you to come in here and go liberals are POSs 20 times, right? If you have something to say, don't say it 5, 6, 7, 8 times. Number one, because it's not productive. Number two, because it actually hurts the algorithm, right? So it's not hard. It's not difficult at all. Jeremiah, if you don't know Kenneth, we don't encourage his behavior. We don't encourage Kenneth's behavior. So just so everyone is aware. So the first thing, let me say this. So if you missed the news this morning, we got a federal judge determined that the Trump administration violated posse comitatus and that it was unconstitutional when they deployed the National Guard in LA. That's going to set a precedent. I would expect other courts to kind of follow suit, which I think we knew that was going to happen. And it was just a waste of taxpayer dollars and all of that. No, Kenneth, I'm specifically referring to your behavior, not whatever label you give yourself. I'm talking about your behavior. Yeah. You're very disingenuous, unproductive, divisive behavior. Yeah, that's what I'm referring to. So, right, Natalie, 100%. Yeah, Galatians 5 and 22. What's up, Vike? Good morning. How are you? Hey, Nancy G. So if you haven't already, I'm going to ask you to share this live with the people around you, so that folks can get in here for this part. So when when Dr. Saheed joins this live, what I'm going to do, hold on for you guys over here. Let me see if I can do this now. I'm looking to see if I can do this. If I can do this. Yes, I can. Okay, perfect. So, what I actually figured out how to do is for you guys that are over here, even though she's on TikTok and she's going to be on video on TikTok, I have a second browser set up over here, logged in on my backup account. So, I'm going to share the screen over here so you will be able to see her as well, which I'm excited about that. Okay, so everybody will get to see her and hear from her. I'm going to reserve like the last 20 minutes or so for questions from the chat. So if you have a question and you would like to join the panel, I'm going to invite you to come up and do so. I think that it's important for people to be able to ask questions directly for the information and that they don't have, that they feel like they need to know. And this is an incredible opportunity to do this, right? So that's what I'm going to do. Like I said, she has a hard stop at 12:30 Eastern Standard Time. So she's going to give us about 90 minutes of her time, and then we're going to go from there. All right. Things that I want you to focus on, especially on TikTok. We don't tend to have as many trolls on Facebook or YouTube and Substack, but if you are on TikTok, good morning, Gma the OG. If you're on TikTok, she is joining directly on TikTok, Cam. Yes. So happy birthday, Mama Dukes. We'll play the song, but we'll play it later, maybe, because she's going to be joining here shortly. So let me say this to you all. I've already shared it with her. I know. Shut up, John. See, y'all can't distract me. Now I forgot what I was going to say. Shit. Oh. Good morning, Mom with Goals. Dang, what was I getting ready to say? She's giving us 90 minutes. She's got a hard stop. The last bit. Oh, thank you, Honey Bear. Thank you, Honey Bear. Trolls. So listen, do not engage with a bunch of trolls on TikTok today. I do not want us to take away from the very important information that she's going to be giving and that we're going to be sharing as well, right? Good morning, Katsmandu. It's just incredibly important, folks, for us to make sure that this space stays as productive as possible at all times. Okay. For those of you all that are on Facebook and YouTube, you have a link to be able to join. But if you don't want to join and you still want to ask a question, just type it in the chat, right? Just type it in the chat. Also, I want to preface this entire live by saying this, okay? Just so that I want everyone to hear me. It is going to be a normal reaction to want to say, like, as she's talking about these things, to talk about how devastating it is or how horrible you feel or any of those things. What I'm going to ask you to do is think about the comments that you're putting in the chat and be sure that you are not centering yourself in this in the discussion. Be sure that we are not centering ourselves in the conversation and that we don't take away. Does that make sense? Okay. So here we go. Let me clear this out before we move on. So to the individual that I just sent an invitation, I am Kim, but towards the end. Yeah, Laura, you guys are going to be able to submit questions. Just give me a second. No, I'm not. Handul, you can either join this panel and be productive or just be quiet. You're not going to be in the comments and be distracting. That's not what's going to happen. So if you want to participate, then come on. If you don't want to participate, we will help you with that. Good morning, KK. Good to see you. So I'm just being very clear about this. If you're a Zionist, if you believe whatever you believe, then that's fine, right? But what you're not going to do is sit in the comments and just make like ridiculous remarks and not be a part of a discussion about them. So one of the things that I like to do in this space is to have conversation that is productive, right? So we can have dialogue, we can have discourse, as long as we do it respectfully. So if you have a position that you believe something about Israel, that's fine that you have that position. We can talk about that, right? What we're just not going to do though is to keep jippity jap in the chat, especially saying things that are inflammatory, right? Like that's just what we're not going to do. Okay. Hey, DJK, good morning. So I'm just letting everybody know, like right off the bat, the way that it's going to go. So I expect Dr. Syed to join shortly. And in about 6 minutes, I would say, I'll bring her up on the panel and we'll begin to have a conversation with her. At least the last 30 minutes, I'm going to open it up for questions from the chat across all the platforms. Okay. So just, yeah, I don't know. I know that Abu Sarraj changed his TikTok handle. DJK, is Abu Sarraj okay? Hey, LB Donna, good to see you. Hey, Donna Ski. Hey, Candy. Good morning, Cheryl. Good to see you. I think so too, Lisa. I know when I asked like a day or two ago that he was okay. A Money said he's on a mental health break. Salam, Anaya. Okay, so on this side, what I'm going to do is I'm going to begin to share my screen. Oh, thanks, Myrna. I appreciate that. It should be what did I me scrolling like did I? Okay. I'm watching to see when Dr. Syed joins and then I'll bring her back up and we'll get started. Things that I would recommend is I would recommend having a pen and paper handy. Okay. Yes, Cam, you guys remember to ignore the trolls. I will handle them and the moderators will handle them effectively. Make sure that you are liking and sharing, and that includes all the platforms. Guys, that includes Facebook, YouTube, Substack, all of that. When you do that, it helps the algorithm to push it out even more. And this is not about elevating me. It's about elevating and amplifying the information that Dr. Syed is going to give us today. It's about making sure that people understand exactly what is happening, how we got here. Oh, I love that, that you invited 3 candidates from the midterms. That's what it's about. And so that's why I said, first, we're going to speak with her for a bit. And then, like I said, she has a hard stop. Once she finishes, there is historical information and present day information that I think is important for people to get. I think that this information will paint a picture for you that maybe you didn't have previously, about what exactly is going on in Palestine, like what's been happening for so many decades. And there are lots of conversations about like how we got here because Britain really didn't have the authority to issue the declaration that it issued in 1917 at all. And I think that people need to understand that the ethnic cleansing of Palestinian people began more than, if I'm being for real, y'all, a long time. A long time. I mean, especially 1947 to 1949, that time period. But even prior to that, after the Balfour Declaration in 1917, right? And so I would just remind you all to think about that. Right, Jeremiah, 130 years. Yeah. So since 1917, at least. And so I think that that's important. And what's crazy to me is if I'm DJK, somebody let me know if I'm not saying this appropriately, but the Palestinian people are suffering for what Western countries did not do for did to the Jewish community and did not do for them, right? So the United States not allowing Jewish people fleeing Germany to seek asylum. This is it. It's crazy that that Western countries um, inflicted all of this pain and suffering upon the Palestinian people because of their atrocities and because of their lack of humanity, because their inability to do what was right at the time. It's absolutely crazy. Hey, Lisa, glad to see you over on Facebook. So I think understanding that sheds a whole new light on things, right? When I really understood that it was like Britain that was like, yeah, take them Palestinian people's land. You can have that, Israel. I was like, what the fuck? Like, how does that happen? Right? How does that happen? And who decides so? Because at the time, Palestine was part of the Ottoman Empire, right? So they weren't even under the control of Britain at the time that they made this declaration to allow Israel to take part of the Palestinian land. So it's just crazy, and that is how you understand. And let me just say this to y'all. For like, who was it? Troy, I believe it was yesterday, who said to me, Troy was very upset about. Let me make sure that I do this again. Okay. Yep. I already did. So Troy said yesterday that he didn't understand why America was wrong that the U.S. was wrong for supporting Israel. And he specifically said that he didn't like the fact that there were Palestinians that would chant, unaliving to America. And here's my thing, right? If if these countries decided that another group of people should take half your land and they funded those people and gave them the weapons and money to unalive your friends and your family and take your homes from you and put you basically in an open air prison, I don't think that you would be yelling anything else. Like, I know some of y'all right now are like, I how many times have I heard y'all say you'd be perfectly fine if Donnie Boy like left the earthly plane? I know plenty of you all. And I know plenty of MAGA folks that were saying they couldn't wait for Biden to unalive, right? There were so many of you all that have said, oh, liberals should just unalive and da 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 da, right? But yet you have a problem with Palestinians having a reaction to the countries that have funded the people that have annihilated and committed a genocide against their people. It's absolutely crazy. The hypocrisy is astounding, and the cognitive dissonance is absolutely just like, it's blindsided. It's just like, how in the world does that happen? That you don't understand. Okay, Cheryl, thanks. I appreciate that. I got you. I got you, Dr. Syed. I got you. I sent you an invitation. All you have to do is hit accept. Perfect. Hi. Oh, and it's so good. I can see your face this time. Oh,
Oh, perfect. Okay. Is that okay? Can you
yep.
see
I'm
me
getting
okay?
ready to do. Oh, it want me. Okay, so I want to expand both now, please. Um, TikTok likes to be funky sometimes, so give me a second. And I know that you have a hard stop, and that's fine because I got you. You guys give me 1 second so that I can get her and I both. Nope. Go back. Don't do that. Maybe I need to change like the number of panels first. Ha, I do. I do. I do. Okay. I'm fine with me being right here and you being right there. And now for you guys over here, we're on TikTok here, but I also am logged in with my backup account and I'm sharing on YouTube and Facebook and Substack as well. So yeah, so
Sorry, I haven't had my morning coffee. I'm on the West Coast, so pardon me. I'm gonna kind of caffeinate.
nope. Have at it. Have at it. No, you are more than fine. Okay, so I need there it is. Boom. So, and let me close this out. Remove. Okay, so oof. No, not that. Share her, not us. Um Why is it being wonky? Oh, maybe I don't want it to do that. It's doing something really wonky. So even though I haven't had caffeine actually. I probably should not, given the level of whatever I've got going on now. There. Okay, so I think that all my folks over there can see us as well. Can somebody on TikTok go check Facebook or YouTube for me, and then let me know in TikTok if they are able to see Dr. Syed and myself, because I think that you are. While they do that, and we are for sure talking um with everybody being able to see you. I So first let me say I appreciate you, not just for doing this work, but for all of the work, for every bit of it. It is there aren't words, so I won't try to give them to words, but I really do feel like that. So thank you.
Thank
Um
you.
yeah, next, if you would, can you share with people a little bit about like your background and how you ended up going to Gaza?
Yeah, I'm Dr. Syed. I'm just a regular community doctor. I'm like a hood rat ER doctor. That's what I am. I am from Chicago. I went to Chicago Public School. There is nothing special about me. I don't have any interest in, like, no passion for global health. I don't have a fellowship. A lot of my colleagues are, pretty badass like that. They have like global health background where this is their calling type of thing. Like, I am glad I made it out and became a doctor. So that's my background. I'm nothing special. I'm a mom who happens to be a doctor who has skills that Gaza needed. Sorry, my camera is kind of wonky here. Um, so that's me. So nothing special about me. I am just a normal American mom. I was born and raised in Chicago. I was trained in Chicago. I live in Washington State now, where I do administration, and I'm a community ER doctor. I've always worked in underserved areas, and in Chicago. I served during COVID time in New York, and now I work in Washington State.
Wow. Yeah. So one of the things that I have noticed with physicians that I've seen talking about this, so I actually like the fact that you're not a global health, whatever, because it just is so much more authentic. It's not the thing like, oh, I've been this crusader for whatever. It's, I literally just saw something. And now that I saw something, I have to say something.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I wish I was, because some of my colleagues are so knowledgeable about, like, just how global health works and the UN laws and things like that. I'm still just like kind of catching up, but these kind of things, like this whole situation in Gaza, has just dropped this responsibility and role on doctors like myself, and people like you, and everybody who has kind of participated in exposing what's happening in Gaza. And I never asked to be a journalist or like an investigator. Like, I have no desire to be in the public eye at all. I just want a private life. But this is something that's bigger than me, that's bigger than anything. And then it requires all hands on deck. And that's kind of how I got involved, is because I just didn't have a choice. It was something that it compelled me to just go, because I kept seeing it, like most of us. I just kept seeing it, and I couldn't just stand back and watch this happen to innocent children who have no voice, who basically nobody's standing up for, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And principles are very important. And how I was raised, what's right is right, and you stand up for what's right, even when it's hard to do, even when the whole world is against you. You stand up for what's right.
100%.
And that's kind of where I came from, and that's my background. So nothing special. I have nothing special. I didn't go to Harvard. I didn't, none of that. I swear I went to Chicago Public School my whole life. I graduated from the Chicago Public School system. I went to the candy store on the corner and bought things for like 5 cents. I mean, that was me. My parents were poor. We're not from a rich background. So I'm like most people in America who are just, that's what my family background is. They were just surviving, and my parents were immigrants. And I was born in Chicago, so first generation. So
okay, so I have to ask you, now that you said Chicago, what side?
Oh, okay. So here's the deal. I'm from the Northwest side.
Okay.
So I'm from Cubs land, right?
Okay.
However, I am a White Sox fan. And I went to UIC for undergrad, and I'm always about the underdogs. And don't tell me that the Cubs are underdogs. They're not. Every out-of-towner is a Cubs fan, and nobody's a White Sox fan. So I'm a White Sox fan.
Okay. I got you. I got you. I know people from the West Side and the South Side, and yeah, like people are for real about their sides.
Oh yeah.
So, okay. So can you share with me and the people, when is the first time that you went to Gaza?
August 2024. So I went from August 8th to September 5th. I served at Nasser Hospital, and I lived there the entire time.
Okay. And that's the hospital that just got hit, I think, 2 weeks ago now. And we lost 4 journalists and 20 people in that.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And that's actually, that's the fullest functioning hospital. Like, we use that loosely because it's not really like a hospital you and I are used to.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the hospital I went to the second time for a little bit, for like a week and a half at Nasser Hospital. And then I went to Al-Aqsa after that in December. But Nasser Hospital usually is like kind of the stopping point. So you don't really find out where you are going to be assigned until you actually get to Gaza. You have some idea, like, oh, maybe you'll go here, maybe you'll go here, but you don't really know until you get inside Gaza. And then we kind of stop overnight at Nasser or Al-Aqsa, and then we go to our respective hospitals that we're assigned. And it's all based on what Ministry of Health decides or WHO decides what hospital you're going to.
So go ahead.
Yeah, so possibly I could have been at Nasser. You know, it was I was getting messages from colleagues at both Nasser and Al-Aqsa and actually Shifa Hospital saying, "Oh, we were told you're coming here, so we're waiting for you." Like, that's, you know, where we're getting messages from my colleagues that I had met before in my last 2 missions. So I wasn't sure. It could have been Nasser, it could have been Al-Aqsa or Shifa. It was kind of up in the air about when I was trying to enter this third time.
Yes.
Which you know about. In August 21st, I was supposed to enter. And I was denied entry on August 20th, and like a few hours before we're supposed to, just like 12 hours before.
And can you explain to people who determines if you get to go and or not?
Yeah, so you get approved by WHO, and then your NGO kind of submits your name to the Ministry of Health in Gaza. Like, hey, this person wants to come in at these dates. That part is never like questioned. It's always a yes. As long as you're like a credentialed doctor, you're good to go. The people that deny you is Israel. It's Kogat, and you're at their mercy. So they will not give you a decision until you are physically present in Jordan. So you have to be there in order to get a yes or a no. So I couldn't be in Washington State 15 hours before I went on a plane and got there to find out that I won't be allowed in.
So you have to go all the way there.
You have to be there physically, and all of the whole process is kind of designed to keep you from going. That's it's very indicative that that's the case, and it's because it's not just that. It's like you can only take in like one suitcase. You can take in one iPhone. You can take in this much food and this much medication. I mean, it's very strict. And you get hassled quite a bit when you get there. It's not like an easy process. You just fly in and okay, you're on your way. They will scrutinize everything. Like, some of my colleagues had their phones taken away from them, and they will look through your social media. Like, are you posting against Israel, or like those kind of things? Who are you messaging? Your WhatsApp. They'll go through your pictures, like everything, and so they'll hassle you quite a bit. So it's not like you're denied and that's it, or you're approved and that's it. You can get approved, the initial approval to get in, and then once you get to the checkpoint, they can deny you there too. So nothing is like guaranteed until you are inside of Gaza, like that you're getting in. And then the same process going out. There's never certainty that you're supposed to leave on whatever, September 5th. There's no guarantee you're going to leave that day, because they can totally stop you and be like, no, come back next week. We're not letting you home today. So you can imagine, you can imagine a person who has a full-time job, like, and has children, who has family, like, it's impossible to make those arrangements, right?
Right.
So it's just meant to kind of keep people up.
Yeah. And I think that this is something that people don't understand about. I was watching another physician that was being interviewed this morning, and he was talking about starvation as, there's this word, this phrase they're using now is starvation as a mechanism of war. And he said it's starvation as a mechanism of life. He said, because even prior to where we are now in blocking of aid, even the aid was weighed, like the calories, like everything that was being brought in, it was limited as to what people could get even prior to October 7th.
Absolutely. That is such an important point you bring up, because people think like life was perfect before October 7th. It was relatively like normal on the surface. It was like living in the Truman Show, right? That's actually what it was like, because that's what it reminded me of when I was speaking to locals there. I'm really close to a 25-year-old medical student who's kind of like my sister now. We work so closely together, and you have that trauma background, that we witnessed together. And she's worked with me in both of my missions. And I was talking to her one day, and she's like, yeah, she's 25 years old. She's never left Gaza City. Like, she hasn't even gone to Khan Yunis before October 7th, because everything is monitored. She didn't even go to Rafah, because everything is monitored. You're watched.
Yeah,
like video surveillance, facial recognition, and it's constantly overhead, like the drone sound.
Yes.
I'm telling you, these, and people in Palestine, like, they're used to it, but like as a foreigner, when you go there, it is so frightening to hear it, because it comes and it comes closer to you, and then it goes far, and it comes closer, and it goes far, and it just f's with your brain, like it just messes with you. It's a total mind f, like totally.
Right. Yeah, it's a surveillance.
They have been surveillance, but they've been doing this for decades. Yes. I mean, this has been going on for their, generations. And so all of, like, chocolate was banned for some time. Pasta was banned. Like, ridiculous things were banned over the years. And you ask yourself, like, why in the world would that be banned? And it's because everything is controlled. Mm-hmm. It's controlled by Israel. It's incredible. I mean, it's just incredible. And they also tax, like, you can't sell your own local products for a certain price. You have to sell the Israeli product for cheaper. So there's like taxes on your own local products. So it prevents people from buying locally, right? And sustaining the economy. Right. So it's simple things like that they just like implemented. That's been way before October 7th.
Right. And so it's funny, because when you'll hear people that are pro-Israel who say things like, oh, they're the only, democracy that exists over there. And, and people have the most freedom, and people do not understand that. I was reading up on an article on Amnesty International, and they were talking about this particular camp that is about 2 kilometers north of Jordan. And the people there can literally see their previous homes that are now occupied by Israelis, which the settlements are illegal under international law. But this encampment, this camp that they're in, 3,300 of them, and it's the size of like 10 football fields or 10 football pitches, that it's surrounded by 3 walls and 5 Israeli IDF watchtowers. And those people determine if you go somewhere, if you don't go somewhere. There's checkpoints between Jerusalem and Bethlehem. And I know we haven't gotten to the ER part of it, but I wanted to frame this and give people a context to understand the society in which Palestinians were already living before October 7th, because people think, oh, it just started then. It did not.
No, I mean, it's an apartheid system. Right. Even in West Bank, even in Israel. So you calling, like people say it's a democracy. Well, if you consider apartheid democracy, then sure. But it's not. It's an apartheid state. We never accepted it. We didn't like it when it was happening in South Africa. And I don't understand why it's okay here. It's a double standard. And, like Nelson Mandela was considered a terrorist by the U.S., right?
Yes.
And then he was given the Nobel Peace Prize. So just to understand, like, this is where we're going. And it was nothing. There's nothing democracy about it. Right. This is an occupying power. And even the whole, like, well, Israel has a right to defend itself. An occupying power does not.
Right. You're occupying something that doesn't belong to you. So you don't have a right to defend because you shouldn't be there in the first place.
There you go.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's like me coming into your home, and then you try to harm me, and then I unalive you and say I'm using the stand my ground law. I can't stand my ground because the ground is not mine.
That's exactly right. I mean, that's the whole idea, like of occupation, and it's something that people don't realize. They don't know because our U.S. history our history in the U.S. kind of sucks because where I know, I'll say Chicago Public School, I didn't get a great history when I was in school. Like I was not taught this. I don't know if people are taught this, but it's very lacking in our education system. And even as adults, like we don't know this.
No.
So it's not obvious. I mean, you and I are probably swimming in it and we know about it and we seek it out now at this point, but most people don't know that, that this is an occupying power.
Yes. Yeah. They don't have any right to be there. They have infringed upon Palestinian land and Palestinian people, and virtually just come in and, I think of it like, what's the movie Purge? Where they're just trying to get in people's homes. It's that. And what people don't understand is that, when you said you don't know how we got here, I think for me, when I think about how we got here, I think that we got here through Zionism and Christian nationalism and Christian Zionism, and this absence of these things would not be allowed in if the people were white. It just would not be a thing.
Exactly. This is based a lot in racism and stereotypes and Islamophobia. And, I just want to set the record straight. Like, I am not for violence of any sort. I am a doctor. Like, I'm totally against that. I'm against the principles of violence. I'm all for getting hostages out, and we should, and that's what they should have done. However, Israel's goal is not to get the hostages out. And we have seen that demonstrated over and over again. And that's what people need to realize.
Yes.
Because people's first, response is, but the hostages. Yeah, I agree. The hostages should be out and we should do everything we can to take them out. However, this was never about the hostages.
No.
It's never about that.
No.
And so that's what is important about this particular issue. Is there are so many nuances and things about this that people don't realize, that all they see is, oh, this happened on October 7th, and then this country is defending itself, and there's a lot more to it.
And that's where I was. That's where I was at first because I had no clue, and then all it took was one live, and for me to have different people on my panel, I was like, wait a minute, I'm missing things. So one of the things that I would love to hear you address, because I'll get this sometimes from folks that are pro-Israeli and pro-Israel. And I want to be very clear about this. I've said this publicly. I say it on all my platforms, and I'm going to say it again. When I talk about Israel, I am specifically talking about the Israeli government and the IDF. I am not being anti-Semitic in any way, shape, or form. And speaking out about, G-side and ethnic cleansing is not anti-Semitic. I don't care how many times you want to make it that, but it is not that. So make sure
nothing about it.
Right.
I mean, I grew up with Jewish friends my whole life. I have Jewish friends currently. This actually has nothing to do with Judaism. In fact, I think that what Israeli government is doing is an extremely anti-Semitic thing.
Yes.
What they're doing is creating anti-Semitism in the world, and actually inciting violence towards the Jewish community. What their actions are doing.
Yes.
So I think it's incredibly dangerous for people of Jewish descent, but I'm not an expert on any of that. I'm here to talk to you about what I saw in Gaza.
Yeah, that was my disclaimer for people that wanted to say something about me. But so I hear people say this. People will say, oh, well, the H organization did this to a hostage. Look what horrible thing they did. And it is horrible. And I'm like you, I don't support, or I don't wish for violence by anyone, because I'm on the side of humanity. And they'll take the singular incident, but that's my understanding, is that it's absolutely nothing compared to what you saw in the hospitals. So can you share with people what you saw on an average day? What did an average day look like for you in Gaza?
Yeah, in August, I'll start with August. When I went there, the first day I got there, it was like really late, 6 p.m. or something. I got there and I went down to the ER. And immediately, I'm telling you, the first minute I got there were mass casualties coming in into Nasser Hospital in the Bays. And they were, I mean, I have worked in Chicago, like communities. I've worked in the bad communities where it's a lot of violent crime. I've seen a lot of gunshot wounds in my time. So I know what gunshot wounds look like. I'm very familiar with violent crime. I've seen machete attacks in Chicago, believe it or not. I mean, I've seen terrible stuff. But what I saw that day, the first day that I got there, and what subsequently after that, there was nothing that would have prepared me for what I saw. It was children. There were children coming in like half their skull missing and their brains out, limbs completely, blown off, their bowels hanging out of their abdomen, open chest wounds, complete like facial trauma with their faces ripped off. I mean, small children. I'm talking little kids, like kids that you can't mistake them for an adult. And during these casualties, you would have like dozens of people coming in, and in like all at once. So it's not like you get a couple of patients and then you have a lull and then you can recuperate. Right. No. This is like everyone coming in all at the same time. Sometimes they would be spaced out because there is no way to physically get to them. So the ambulance, if it was available, or family members driving to these places. And we would kind of sometimes get a heads up from patients' families on the phone saying, oh, we have people coming in from this neighborhood. So they would give us like five-minute heads up or something. But these are like people, just their family members bringing in kids. I remember like just children being wrapped up in a blanket and their parents just coming in, laying them on the floor. I mean, and there were like 3 or 4 of them in a row, and they were dead. They were dead. Like we would take a pulse just to verify it.
Right.
And they came in dead, like they were motionless, and this would happen all the time. A lot of the patients actually would go straight to the morgue. So if they were like obviously dead from the field, they would go straight to the morgue. And I would stand out there a lot of times waiting for the mass casualties just to get an idea of what's coming in. And I remember just standing there taking pulses, like just make sure. They would stop in the driveway, I take a pulse, they go straight to the morgue, take a pulse, go straight to the morgue. I mean, it was like constant.
One of the things that I heard this other doctor say, and bless his heart, he literally broke down in tears because the person that was interviewing him said, she called him a hero. And he said, I don't like that word. And he said, because I actually feel like I let Palestinians down. And he said, because we would be there and there would be a rush of them come in with like what you're talking about. And he would say, there is no triage. There's no triage to know, okay, well, I need to go here first, there first, there first, there. And so, you just can't get to everyone that you would want to get to in the time frame. I think about the golden hour that exists when you have trauma and how critical that is. And he was saying, he said, I feel horrible. He said, I feel like I let them down because I didn't get to as many of them as I could. How do you as a physician deal with the circumstances under which you had to work?
I mean, it was a shock. Like it was an utter shock, right? And this is not about me or the foreign doctors that go in. Like this has nothing to do with us. And he's right. None of us are heroes. No, I mean, the only heroes are in Gaza right now. So that's that. But as a doctor, especially an ER doctor that's with a trauma background, like our lives are like we fix things. Like we see something, we fix it, right? Or stabilize it so that it can be fixed. And that's like what we do. That's what we're trained for.
Right.
So when you get there, there's this wake up call. There's this rude awakening that you realize very soon, that you can't do your job. You went there for a specific reason, but you can't do what you're supposed to be doing. You can't do what you're trained to do. And so you have to mentally like change your role and realize that you're not here for what you thought you're here for. You're here because you're number one, standing in solidarity with your healthcare workers and the people of Gaza. But 2, you are there so that you can stop with every power that you can possibly have. You are there to stop what's happening here. And if that's by going back and advocating, if that's by doing media, if that's by taking photos, I mean, anything you can do in your power to stop it, that's what you quickly, that becomes your role.
Yeah.
And it took me a while. It was a hard pill to swallow. And it took a lot of just mental, coaching for myself to come to that conclusion. But it happened very quickly for me. But it felt like a lifetime, because I remember sending a message to my husband, like, I don't know what I'm doing here. Well, why am I here? Like, I can't help anybody here. Everybody just dies. And he's my best friend. So he was like, listen, Mimi, this is the reason you're there is not what you thought you're going there for. You have a much bigger purpose. And so, I don't care what background you have as a medical professional. Like, I have talked to doctors who have been to like the most modern conflict zones of the entire, history, like that they can possibly be in their lifetime. And even they were like, there's nothing like Gaza. I was not prepared for Gaza. There's no training, right? There's no training that prepares you for this level of pediatric trauma, for example.
Yeah. And that's the part that I really want to dig in, because, I think so. My dad had 2 tours of Nam. I'm a veteran as well. And I think about, our Vietnam soldiers were not prepared to encounter children in those types of circumstances, right? It just wasn't something that we were used to. And when you think about the fact that Palestine has around 50% of its population is children, that's what you see the majority of. So if you were going to, and I know this might seem hard, but I want people to really understand, if you can tell me and share with everyone what your worst day, and I know that might be hard to choose, but if you were to think about maybe the worst moment, or the moment that it will stick no matter what you do, that you saw, that you witnessed when it comes to the children.
I mean, it's like so many examples. Like, honestly, I find a new memory in my memory bank, like every once in a while. So when I was there, I took photos, like, and videos, like thousands of them. And it's so traumatic to go through those photos that it took me so to like catalog them and process them. I still haven't gotten to that. And every once in a while, I'll go back and look at some photos, and I'll find a new one that I didn't process yet. Like, I didn't even realize I had. But I remember a child who was about 11 or 12 years old, and this was during my last days. And this is not, by no means, this is like the worst thing I saw. Everything was worse, but I just remember the child's face, because he was brought in with his mom and his dad. They were in Rafah, and they were going to check up on their house because there was this, a little bit of a pause or something in military firing and munitions. And so they just went to go check up on their house to see if things were there, like if there was food left or something that they could retrieve so that they could use it. And so the father went, and the mom and the son were outside of Rafah waiting for him. And there was an airstrike on him, like a drone shot at him. And he came in, and it took the family hours to find somebody to go get him, because Rafah is so dangerous. There was no family, nobody willing to go. They finally found a ride to go get him. And when they brought him in, he was taking like the last respirations that a person takes before they die. And he was charred, but he was still alive. And they put him down in front of me, and this kid, I remember him, he was staring out and looking at his dad and waiting for me to do something. And they put him on the ground, and his mom was there, and she even had difficulty accepting that he's going to be dead, he's going to die. And they expected like us to resuscitate him, and there was nothing that we could do. He was basically dead at that point. But I remember just kind of for optics, taking a pulse and trying to see if there was a blood pressure, just so they could feel like we did something.
Yeah.
But that kid, and I just looked at them, and I just looked at them like, there's nothing I can do. And the mom went hysterical immediately and jumped on his body and was like hugging him. And the kid was standing at the corner of the room of the trauma bay, and he was literally like catatonic. I just remember him staring out into a wall, and he wasn't flinching, like he wasn't moving.
Right.
And I could just see that trauma. I mean, that's trauma that will never leave
go
this
away.
child.
No, never go away.
And it made me realize that this is like one of thousands of kids that will never, like, I mean, it's going to be impossible to get over something like that without some kind of help, without somebody helping them. But it was, I mean, I tried to like put my hand on his shoulder or just, I mean, he wouldn't move. Just to see his dad dying right in front of him and in such a state, you know, just charred completely and taking his last breaths. It was, even as a seasoned like ER doctor, I couldn't hold it in. I actually had to step out for a minute. And to this day, I think about it, it's impossible. But it's just the implications of it. It's not just seeing the kid, but just the ramifications of what is happening and how it's affecting this entire pediatric population.
Yeah.
Unbearable.
People don't think about the trauma part of it as well, because that's significant and immeasurable. But I want people to understand that oftentimes there's no anesthesia, correct?
Yeah, I mean, exactly. I have a video that I've given to journalists, but it demonstrates so many things about the healthcare system. It was recorded by a med student of mine while there was a mass casualty incident, but I'm basically on the ground in like a pool of blood with a kid whose face is like kind of blown off and his brain was exposed, but I was trying to sedate him with what we had. We had, I believe we had some propofol, we had some ketamine, and very little amounts of it. And I had given him like multiple doses, and he was like untouched. I'd given him so much, and it was not phasing him. He was still like thrashing around and moving around, and we're trying to stabilize him on the ground. But we realized that it was completely ineffective because it had been in like such hot temperatures in August.
Yeah.
There was no electricity for refrigeration to preserve it or like to maintain the temperatures. Like it was ineffective. Right. And I don't know what happened to it, how long it'd been sitting there, you know, in the storage. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what happened to the medication, but it was, and we were doing that all the time. Like there was, you know, we were doing amputations with scissors, like to just cutting off the limbs that were attached, that were basically left off, hanging on by tissue or bone. We would just cut them off with scissors, with trauma shears. So no anesthesia.
I'm going to tell you something. I said this to people because everybody keeps saying that you had 2 missions in Gaza. And I don't, I typed it missions today, but in the promos I called it tours, because as a military person, this is, even though you're medical, it's like serving, and you are witnessing things that people just should not ever see because they should not occur. In your opinion, based on the types of injuries that you saw, do you believe that Israeli military forces and the IDF are intentionally targeting children, and that based on the type of wounds that they had, that they're not like accidental, they're not collateral damage, but that these are intentional injuries that are taking their lives, the children?
Yeah, so recently an Israeli governmental database, I think it was they reported like 83% of the casualties in Gaza are civilian. You saw that, right?
I did.
It was from the Israelis, like they published that. So that's number one. Number two is that we saw gunshot wounds in kids, like single shots, either to the head, to the neck, to the chest. Right? And I've talked about this extensively. But those are not like isolated incidents, right? I'm not the only one reporting. Dozens of other doctors have reported this exact same thing. And mind you, none of us really know each other. We've never met before that. We went to different hospitals at different times of the year. And we all witnessed the same thing. Yeah. So someone can say, well, you know, how do you know it was a sniper and it wasn't just crossfire? So someone, you know, specifically shooting a child in the head is, in my opinion, is the same thing as a gunman spraying bullets in a population of children.
Yeah.
and like indiscriminately just
Guys,
spraying bullets.
so for those of you guys, if you can do everything that you can to protect the life, TikTok gets very funny about language that we use. So like typically when we say people are, we have to say unalived. And words like pew pew pew. TikTok, yeah, TikTok is rough. And so you see everybody's talking about fruit and TikTok shop in the comments because they're trying to protect the live so that we don't get in trouble. Yeah, I know y'all are trying, but that was like a whole slew of them in a row, and I was like, whoo, hold on, because usually, but so just I know that you're talking in regular everyday language, and it is important for people to hear it. But it's also one of the reasons why I set up the one with you on Saturday through another platform, because we can be, and that one, even if you are willing to, and if you desire to, the one that I'm going to do with you on Saturday, if you have images or anything that you want to share, we'll have the ability to do that, because I'll be on a different one, if that makes sense. But
got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Money said, sorry, Dr. Mimi, I should have told you.
So I am so illiterate when it comes to TikTok.
That's okay. No worries. It tickles me.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Sorry, it's embarrassing. I'm so old. Okay. So let me try this again. So when they are, so I think that they're deliberately unaliving children because also we've had live footage of them unaliving children through the same method, through snipers, and admitting to it after and boasting about it. But we also have, soldiers coming out later and being whistleblowers and saying like, yeah, we used to do this. We had no repercussions. And it's been happening for decades, not actually just now. Right. It happens in the West Bank all the time. And, the other narrative I've heard, the other the clapback is, well, how do we know H is not doing this to their own kids? Right? Mm-hmm. There's no track record of that. There's no reason why you would assume that. Would you assume that if Ukrainian kids were being pew-pewed, nope. Would you be saying that, oh, well, they're being done by their own people? No, you would immediately assume it's the Russians doing it. So It's strictly based on racism. That whole, that talk about, well, how do you know it's not H doing it? It's based on racism. Yeah, it's deeply rooted. Exactly. The other thing, because we've watched and looked at several of the soldiers, and that's an important distinction to make. It's not just the IDF; it is also soldiers, American contractors that are there on independent contracts that are participating in these things, and it's not just at the aid situations, but it's at different places. But it is intentional, and it is children. Oh yeah, I mean, we have this. I can't remember his name right now. The contractor that came out and is basically doing all these interviews and telling them how it is. Yeah. Oh yeah. There's two. I think that you're right. There's two. There's probably more than that, but they're basically coming on and saying like, we did this. We saw this. We have live footage. Like some of them have live footage of them doing it and yelling, keep doing it. One was like, did you get it? Did you hit it? One ass was like, did you hit? And they're bragging about it. And for me as a veteran, I'm not shocked or surprised because I know there are certain types of people that join the military. And those are the people that we really don't want in, but they like them. Hundal, there's proof. We just said that. So I told you what the guidelines are going to be for you to be in my space. So, you're going to learn today. But anyway, I had another question for you. Okay. So there's all this talk about, we're targeting schools and we're targeting hospitals because that is where the H organization is. In your time at the different facilities that you were at, did you ever see any type of military setup by Hamas at hospitals that they were using as their headquarters? That's the simple answer is no. There was nobody. We've all said it. We never saw it. Did we see combatants? Did we see guns? Nothing. We never, or pew-pews? Yeah, we never saw pew-pews. We never saw any of those things. The only people I treated were civilians. So that's the only, and by what we do, just by our sheer profession, we would treat anybody that walked in the door. If there was an IDF soldier that walked in, I would treat him because I took an oath, and that's what we do as doctors and healthcare workers. And I guarantee you the people of Gaza would do the exact same thing. So it's not just me. They also would treat the IDF soldiers. So anybody that came in, and this whole thing like, oh, they were hiding and you didn't see them. Let me just explain to you what Gaza is like. So Gaza is like this, it's very small. It's actually not big. I know there's 2 million people, but everybody knows each other. There's like 2 degrees of separation with everybody because everybody knows each other. You cannot hide a secret. I mean, you can't keep a secret there. It's impossible. I mean, and there's kids everywhere. It's like 50%. I mean, honestly, when you go there are small children walking around everywhere. And I don't know if anyone has kids, like little kids, they cannot keep secrets. Right. So you would, like if a kid knew someone was hiding somewhere, everybody would know it. It's impossible to hide it. We lived inside the hospitals, right?
Right.
So we would be in the areas that were kind of walled off, that were away from the actual patient care areas. We would have heard something. We would have seen something. We were there at all hours inside of the hospital. We talked to everybody going in and out of the hospital. Mm-hmm. And we had, and I had like locals that I would talk to. I walked around the second time around. I walked around in the encampment. So I left the hospital grounds, and I walked around in the tense areas by myself a couple of times. Yeah. And I would have seen someone. I would have heard someone. Someone would have come and said, leave, or none of that. Right. It was just. The only people we were afraid of were the IDF soldiers, right. And the drones watching you to shoot you or something, And so it was just not something that we ever saw. And I haven't met a single one of my colleagues internationally or locally that has said, oh yeah, we saw gunmen, we saw Hamas or H or whatever. Like, we just never did.
Right.
It wasn't there, and it wasn't underground. I didn't go underground, but there's also no proof from the Israelis that this exists.
Right. Because even after hitting those facilities and taking over those facilities, they didn't produce anything that says, see, here they were right here. This is why we did it. And we've just never seen that.
Exactly. And then, I wanted to talk about this double tap strike on Nasser. Because
so do you know people that are still there?
Well, I know local people, but I don't know any foreign doctors there right now.
So my daughter's friend, Annalise, she's recently done a couple of interviews. She did one right after the double tap that happened at Nasser. She's a critical care nurse at Nasser, and she's there now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So she probably would be able to tell you exactly what happened that day. But obviously, they said immediately this was a tragic mishap, right?
Yep.
And then after that, they said, oh no, like there was H there. So you can't have both. Right. You can't do both. That's number one. That's a little bit inconsistent. But second, this double tap, and you can speak more about this. This is a strategic strike. Double taps are used to actually target and unalive journalists and first responders.
Yep.
And we saw it. Russia did this in Ukraine and was like immediately, condemned and said, "You can't do that. That's not okay." Yeah. And the whole world was in a outrage that they did that. But it's designed to unalive these people, because what happens is you have a strike, right? And then the first people that are going to respond or run to that area is journalists and first responders. That's by nature. That's what they do.
Yes.
And that's why they did it that way. That's why they struck twice.
Right.
And so for them to say, like, first of all, this was a tragic mishap, or we're trying to get a camera, or I don't know what that last.
Yeah, they said the one journalist had a camera and he was filming something, and it looked like something. Whatever they said, it was whatever lie they could think of. Yeah.
Yeah, and they actually, WHO had this event. It was a meeting, a training session planned for months before that happened. They had something so that all the foreign doctors would have to go to this place for this training. And it was planned. It was by WHO. It was mandatory, which they do. And the COGAT, or Israel, they have to coordinate it with them. Right? It's not like they can do it on their own. It's like months in advance. It's planned So the Israelis knew that the foreign doctors would be out of the hospital at that time. And I think that that's what the emphasis is. They knew all of this ahead of time.
Yeah.
And that area that they struck, that's the fourth floor. That's where we used to sleep. That's where we used to live. All of the doctors and the foreign workers stay there. In that very stairwell, we would go and use our phones to call our spouses and our families and get Wi-Fi signal to do interviews. That's where I did most of my interviews when I was there. That's why the journalists are there, because they can get feed. They can do live feeds. They can use Wi-Fi. So that's all planned. I mean, that's like they knew that.
Yeah.
So to say that this wasn't, I mean, it's just kind of comical at this point.
So there's been a lot of talk about it, and it's been confirmed, and we've seen reports, or at least I've seen reports. Can you speak to the use of starvation and the blockage of aid and food, and what you've seen in terms of the population, the Palestinians, the Gaza, the impact that it is having on them?
Yeah, so kids there have been malnourished for quite some time. So there is something called a chronic malnourishment versus acute malnourishment. Right? So in December when I was there, I noticed that kids were a lot smaller than they should be, and that's chronic malnourishment. They've been kind of undergoing that. So kids are generally smaller. But they had, blotches of hair missing. They had hypopigmented skin. They had necrotic baby teeth. I have pictures that I, reported with Dropsite. And then recently with Haaretz, they did a piece with all of those pictures I had and interviewed me as well. But I was seeing signs of that in December. And those are acute malnourishment signs. But then, so to say that this is like, oh, suddenly it crept up on us, this is a stage 5 famine, we're not surprised. This is, right. Everybody's been warning about this, that this is going to happen. I met mothers who had just given birth that were like feeding their baby sugar water because they had nothing else. And their children would come in almost dead because you obviously can't feed a kid sugar water, but what else would you do? I mean, if you have no choice. Right. They can't produce breast milk because they themselves are malnourished. And you can't buy formula. Either it's not available or it's too expensive. You cannot afford baby formula like a normal person there. So they were coming in with these babies that were almost dead. And, this is so common. We would see debilitating illness, debilitating conditions because of simple things that could have been prevented. For example, spina bifida. Mothers who take prenatal vitamins, it's for a reason. Our foods here in the US, they're fortified with folate and things like that. It's completely preventable. Right. We also have like prenatal screenings that would diagnose this, and then you could get, a surgery or something for the baby to prevent more damage to the spinal cord. Well, I would see babies there that would come in, and the moms would bring them in as 3 months, 4 months, and say, "Oh, the baby's not moving her legs. Like, why is that?" And we would examine them, and they'd have like a hole at the bottom of their spinal cord, and it's a sign of spina bifida. And that's a lifelong condition because there's nothing you can do at that point.
Right.
And, you ask mom what happened. It's like, well, I didn't have food. I didn't have anything to take. There's no prenatal vitamins. Like, they can't do anything. It's completely preventable. But these are just simple, like small things that are completely preventable, but that cause lifelong debilitation in these children, in these generations to come.
So do you think, so I heard you mention all of these photos and the videos that you have, and I know that they were published in certain places. Where can people go? Because my thought process is, Congress just came back in session today. We invited several of them to come watch you. I doubt they showed up, but my thought process is, I'm going to take this and be able to kind of clip it, but with pictures. I would love for people to be able to get some of the images and the videos that you took and be able to send them to their elected officials, and maybe even to some of these corporations and people that are complicit in what's happening, to get that done. So ZionistObserver.com has many of these resources cataloged. Perfect, DJK. Thanks for telling me. Love that.
Yeah, I can share some of those with you too. They're in the media and they're published. But I put a lot of my work and some things from like local people, like voice notes and stuff, on my Instagram, Dr. Mimi ER. It's DRMIMIER. Okay. And I'm trying to get on TikTok to put stuff, but I still don't understand the rules. Like, I tried to put an interview up, and it was like, you can't do that or something.
Yeah,
So,
their community guidelines are like, yeah, they are interesting. It's one of the reasons, like, I had to hide some of your other images. So I started it out with, like you just in the doctor, you know what I mean? And then slid some pictures in. They're very whatever. However, it's one of the best platforms in terms of getting information out. So you work within the confines that you have. But there's so many other ways to, for us to be able to put it out. And I just want people to be as informed as they possibly can about what's happening. What would you say to people that say, I just don't know if all of this is true? I hear people saying it, but I just don't know if this is really, if this is really happening. What do you think we need to be doing to make people understand exactly what you've seen and what you've witnessed firsthand?
Well, I'd ask a question of those people. Did you say the same thing when the Russians invaded Ukraine? Were you saying, "Oh, I don't know if this is true"? When people are in solidarity with Ukraine, are they saying that? I mean, how do you know? You're not there. How are you believing the stuff that's coming out? Why are you believing that? And this apparently is just not something that's believable. So people who ask those questions, I think sometimes you have to take a hard look at yourself and ask yourself why you're asking those questions and why you're doubtful.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you should accept everything that someone is telling you, but you should seek it out. You should seek out the truth. I think I'm a firm believer that people should have independent thought, but you should also recognize your own biases and your own stereotypes and your own prejudice and racism, because there is a lot of that in what's happening, as it kind of molds how people view what's happening. Mm-hmm. I have no allegiance to the area. Miss Rachel doesn't either. And these people speaking out, like they're literally talking about don't starve children. Don't target children. Don't unalive children. Those are not controversial things to say.
No, they shouldn't be like that should just be like, I don't know why this is a thing that we have to say. Why is
right? And so if you don't believe me, if you don't believe the doctors that are seeing this firsthand and reporting it, if you don't believe the Palestinians that have been reporting this for 2 years almost and showing you live on camera what's happening, if you don't even believe that, just go look at what the Israeli officials say, and that should help your rhetoric. That should help you understand why what we're saying is true. The polls that come out, like Haaretz reported a poll that came out of just Israeli civilians, saying that they don't believe, the majority of them, I believe it was 76%, don't believe that there are any innocents in Gaza.
Yes.
So that means that everybody is fair game, right, for unaliving.
Yes.
The Israeli officials, Eyal Zamir, he is the IDF chief. He said, besiege them, let them starve. So he is admitting that they are being starved.
Yeah.
Okay, these are Israeli officials.
I watched an Israeli official say the same thing when they asked the Israeli official specifically about children. And he was like, no, they should be unalived. And they were like, but you mean even the children? And he said, yes. And they were like, why? And he said, they're the enemy.
Yes.
Yeah, so, he literally said, they are my enemy.
You have the army chief saying that. I don't really understand what, you don't have to be a political expert. You don't have to be anything, really. You don't even have to have any career. You could literally be just nothing, like just watching anything and just know that unaliving children is wrong.
Right.
Like in your just innate intelligence, you should know that unaliving children is wrong.
100%.
So, I mean, I think I think they kind of think that you have to have some kind of knowledge that they don't have, or it's too complicated to understand. But it really isn't. I mean, it's not. It's actually the simplest issue, in my opinion. It's the simplest issue that's come across in our modern time to discern what is correct and what is incorrect, what is right and what is wrong, what is moral and what is immoral. It is so easy to tell in this issue that in some others, it might be a little bit cloudy. It might be a little gray area. But this is so outrightly wrong and right. It's like to me, it's mind-boggling how people, can say like, "Oh, is it true or not?" And those people that do say it, there could be a component of laziness, like they don't want to speak up because it's hard to. But two, it requires you to take risks.
It does.
Because unfortunately, the subject is polarized.
Very much so. I told folks that I would open it up for questions at the end of this, and so glad that everybody is over here. So yeah, so one of the questions that I'm getting on Facebook is the person said, "I realized food and meds aren't getting in with trucks, but would major airdrops help?"
Airdrops are inefficient and deadly. So airdrops kill people. Airdrops are inefficient, and airdrops are actually telegenic. This is all created to show that that the Israelis are doing something to allow aid in. What's more effective is to open up the borders and allow ground transport for these, because a truck can hold much more than airdrop. So, just to explain just the basics of an airdrop, airdrops don't drop like perfectly in the middle of a community that needs it, and then the people go and equally distribute it and share it with each. That's not how it works. It's actually very dehumanizing, first of all, to throw aid in a starving population, and almost kill them. So many people have been killed with these airdrops. If you're paying attention at all, I mean, people have these airdrops. They weigh a lot, and when they're falling from the sky, it will kill you. That's one. Two is they drop in areas that are not accessible. So they'll drop in the sea, or they'll drop in areas that are like under heavy gunfire or military operations. And so people can't get there. They're risking their lives to go get there. Right. And these little drops. So imagine if you were starving for, 6 months, and I threw pieces of crackers at you in a whole mob of people. Do you think it's going to be orderly and sharing and like humanized? No.
Right.
There is no human being, if their children are starving, if they themselves are starving, and you threw aid at them, they're gonna do everything they can to secure that aid for their child. 100%. I would, as a mother, I would do anything to keep my children safe and to feed them. So, to act like, oh, it's disorderly, look at their animals, like that's what the Israeli officials say, right? Like, oh, look at they're clamoring over each other to go. Of course they are. Of course. You would too.
100%. Yeah, 100%.
I mean, yeah. So it's totally inefficient. It's actually deadly, and it's not how we should be distributing aid to a starving population. It's incredibly inefficient, but it's also very dehumanizing, and that's the problem with everything happening right now. This is just more dehumanization.
So for the folks, if you have, okay, so there's a question. So question, guys, if you have a question, can you mark it with a green heart for me? So the question is, can you expand more on the differences in what you saw between your first tour in August of 2024 and then again in December?
Yeah, so when I went in August, and I came back in early September, I told my husband, well, okay, well, thank God, this is not going to continue. Like, I don't have to go back. I did what I can. I got, I'm going to do advocacy work, and I'm not going back because I'm not going to be needed anymore. But sure enough, December rolled around. I'm like, I can't believe this is still happening. But not only that, things have gotten worse. And there was hypothermia happening at that time. And, tents with barely any kind of substantial insulation in the month of December, which is really cold. Babies being, unalived because of hypothermia, newborn babies. And then starvation was actually starting at that point. We were seeing acute malnourishment. Even before that, it was starting, but we were seeing true signs of it. And personally, I knew my medical student that I talk about frequently, but I had given her my clothes. So I'm an extra small. I'm not big. I gave her all my extra smalls, right? And I'm like, okay, you take these, go ahead. And she was wearing them. We fit about the same in August. When I went back in December, those clothes were hanging off of her. I couldn't recognize her because she was so thin. And she's like, we don't have food. We don't have any food. Even the healthcare workers I was seeing at that point, they had hollowing in their eyes and their forehead and their cheeks. And I was like, these are the same people I just saw in August. Right. So there was a major shift there in the healthcare workers. So imagine the actual general population was much worse at that point. So, and I got a little bit more of a sense of, I was able to talk to people more in December. I was at a different hospital and I worked at a pediatric hospital. But I saw the signs of, preterm labor, some of the after effects of that. And I spoke to a lot of mothers who were giving birth preterm because of the bomb residue. They were inhaling. And so they were having preterm births. And with these babies in preterm, they need special like nutrients, they need special formula, which just wasn't available. So we were seeing things called failure to thrive, which is, babies just not able to survive.
Yeah.
So, and all of these conditions like chronic diarrhea, hepatitis A. I mean, I wrote a lot of articles on these in Palestine Chronicle about the cases that I saw, preventable things, chronic illnesses that were treatable and people dying of them. So it was a big difference that I saw. But I was able to actually dive in and kind of talk more to people about their living conditions.
There's, I was looking on Amnesty International. They interviewed some of those pregnant women and some of those mothers, and they were specifically talking about the tear gas. And so she was saying that she puts wet towels over the windows and the doors so that it tries to absorb some of the chemicals from the tear gas. But of course it doesn't do all of it. And of course there are repercussions because of those things. So, and when you talk about babies, so my second grand was born at 1 pound, 3 ounces, 91 days in a NICU. So I'm very familiar with what, 26 weeks was how long she made it. And I can't imagine that in Gaza. Like there's just.
No, it's impossible. I mean, that's a death sentence. The survival rate for a baby like that, that's just.
It's not happening.
They're going to be unalive, right? Yeah.
Right. Do you guys give me a green heart? Would you return? Yeah. Well, Cam, I know she would return if she could. She just got denied 2 weeks ago. So yeah, 100%. I know she would return if she could. Yeah.
100%. Absolutely, I would. I'm doing everything I can to get back there and help. But it's not. So again, there's no reason given, and we can talk about that a little bit. There's no reason given as to why you're denied, and a lot of this has to do with further destroying the healthcare system because we even the little aid that we can provide, we still provide a little bit of relief for the medical workers that have been working day in and day out. We come with supplies, we come with skills, with education. And just relief. Imagine working as a healthcare worker, volunteering most of them for 2 years. You need that help. And they look forward to that. And you build relationships. And that's one reason. But also, I know myself, I've been extremely vocal. I have spoken to government. I have traveled for, I spoke with the UN Secretary General. And so this is another way to keep us out from preventing the truth from coming out and showing exactly what's happening there.
Yeah.
So the Israeli government doesn't want that, right? It's the same reason they keep journalists out. It's the same reason they killed unalive journalists there. So it's the same, mechanism to keep all of that from being exposed. Now, I was traveling with a French doctor who also got denied with me in the same group, and she's also done the same thing in her country. She's spoken to, government officials. She's helped with evacuations. She's spoken to media, and we were both denied. And the one nurse that was approved, he wasn't allowed to enter without doctors with him, but he was approved. He just couldn't enter because logistically you can't travel alone as a nurse without a doctor is what we were told. So no one in our mission went.
Wow. Yeah, I don't think that I think that people are just now realizing that there's no freedom in Gaza. There's no freedom to come and go as you please. There's no freedom to be. I learned from oh my gosh, I can't think of her name right now. DJK will put it in the comments like he always does. But the nun that was interviewed, and I didn't know about yellow license plates and white license plates, and the fact that some people could go on some roads and other roads you couldn't do. So another question that I have is somebody says, do you have to ask every day to leave, or do they tell you when you can? Do you mean leave the hospital, or you mean, because I think when you go, you live at the hospital while you're providing the care, correct?
Yeah. Most of us do. There's some that have, I think some organizations have like a safe house that they go to in the evening. But both of the missions that I was on, and we would live in the hospital. But you get a date. So you get a date for entry, and they only allow dates for exit and entry on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Unless there's some weird exception or something, they only allow it Tuesdays and Thursdays. So if you go in on a Tuesday and you're told, okay, you'll be leaving on September 5th, which is a Thursday, you have to leave that day if they allow you to. But you can get to the checkpoint. They can be like, no, we can't. We're not going to give you the green light today. Go back, try again on Tuesday. So that absolutely can happen.
Yeah, 100%. Guys, use a green heart. And I'm going to read off the names because we have a hard stop coming up. So I'm going to read off the names for the people that have requested up. And here's what I'm going to ask you to do. I got you, Nance. I'll ask your question in just a second. So I'm going to read off your names. If you accidentally requested to come up here, just let me know so I can take you down. When I call your name, if you meant to request up to ask a question, give me a green heart in the comments so that I know. So I have Mary Shaw. I have Anaya. I have George. I have Grammy. So what's it like to try to reintroduce food to those that have been starved?
Yeah, so it's not as simple as we think. Like, these people have been starved for 6 months. So you can't just give them food right away, right? There's something called refeeding syndrome, and babies are affected mostly by this, immediately. But your body kind of is in this efficient mode because it's starving, and so you can't just process things like you normally would. So it has to be monitored very closely by medical professionals. Then you can see things like electrolyte imbalances, cardiac arrhythmias, third spacing of fluids, like those kind of things that have to be monitored. Like if one of your electrolytes is completely skewed, it needs to be replenished or fixed. So it requires a lot. You can't just flood people with food suddenly. For example, my med student who's not eaten for so long, she finally got a little bit of food, and she said like she tried to eat and she was vomiting. She couldn't even tolerate it. Even water, she said, it's like when it gets to my stomach, I feel nauseous. I can't keep it down. So she's had to very slowly, like, take in small amounts. And this type of stuff that's being let in as aid that they finally do get, it's not like the macronutrients, all of the things that we have access to, right? These are like densely caloric type of things that are high carbohydrate. So you don't have everything available. Yeah. So it's not that easy. And babies, unfortunately, babies are affected quite a bit. So it needs to, in the NICU and places like that, in the pediatric ICU, they monitor this quite closely. They just don't have the ability to do all that.
Right. Another question is, what is the access to things like drinkable water?
So right now it's terrible. I was telling you about my med student. She said the water is so cloudy. It smells. It has this odor. The water system is terrible, right? So when I was there in December, I really tried to take a close look at the water system. And I was able to talk to some people that were in charge of like the hospital filtration system. And they said that the agents they needed to clean the water, like the chlorine, the membranes needed to help clean the water out. Mm. The fuel needed for the filtration system, the generator, all of that was lacking and blocked from entering. So what they were filtering was a little bit, but the high contents of salt, right, because of it's ocean water. And kids were, I have a video of kids literally getting water from a hose that's just coming out in the middle of an encampment and just drinking it. And I tasted the water when I was there, and it was extremely salty. And I was wondering why kids are coming in, with this kidney failure. They kept coming in with kidney failure, small children. And there were several reasons for it, but one of the reasons was the high levels of sodium. This is what they were drinking. They're not meant to be drinking that.
Right.
But the E. coli was causing like diarrhea. And every child there has diarrhea. And as a healthcare worker, when you go there, you'll get diarrhea. Every foreign worker gets diarrhea because everything is contaminated. The sewage system is completely destroyed there, right? So sewage is running through the street. kids play in it, and because there's nowhere else to be. But so everything is contaminated.
Wow. So somebody said I'm a retired surgical tech. Should I try to go there? I'm totally willing.
Recently, they announced that only physicians would be allowed in. Now, those things change all the time, so I would apply if you have the ability. But right now, that's what we were told. Again, I don't know. Things change all the time, but definitely, if you're willing to and able to help, you should apply.
So, and somebody else asked, what can we do? I'll share with you what I say all the time. Is I tell people, I believe in the three circles, right? The circle of control, circle of influence, and everything else. And so what I tell people is share the information as much as possible. Every time you see something, learn something new, share it in your inner circles, have difficult conversations, apply pressure to your elected officials and the people that are in Congress. What else would you add on top of that?
Yeah, I guess I would ask is that, whoever is asking, like, what is preventing you? I'm not assuming you're not saying anything, but what is preventing you from speaking? Like, if you say, well, I don't feel like I know enough about the conflict. I don't know enough about the issue. Well, make yourself confident that you do and have that conversation. But like you said, Denny, I think the biggest thing people can do is just talk about it. That's the most powerful thing you can do. Of course, reach out to your reps. Do as much as you can. And I like to say it's an ecosystem, and other people have described it the same way. There's everything. There's activism, advocacy work. You go to protests, you write letters, there's boycotts and all these things, and everything has a part. Everything has a role. I do advocacy work. I do media. You don't have to be a doctor that goes to Gaza. Everybody can't do that. You don't have to have TikTok or, influence. It's great if you do. If you have any platform and you do, share it and use it. But just simply having a conversation with someone is infectious. Yes. People, when they know you feel a certain way on this issue, they will feel more comfortable and brave and have that courage to speak up to someone else. I've said this before. I think I said it on the last TikTok live I was on. But I was waiting for a plane in an airport, and I saw a guy with a kufiya on, and I immediately felt compelled to speak to him because I said, well, thank you for showing solidarity with the Palestinians. And immediately, I think a little while after, I noticed there was 5 people around us, and all of us were for this, against this happening. And we all felt this kind of closeness with each other, and we felt like it was brave. We were brave enough that we could talk about it. So all of that makes a difference.
100%. It's you give other people permission to say how they feel about something. And so it's just those silent those moments. And I will tell you, people are more likely to listen to the people that they know that are like them. So when you say something in front of your family members or your friends, and if you feel like you can't say it verbally, send them texts, put up them social media posts. Do whatever, because not everybody can. I said if I wasn't here helping take care of my grandbabies, I would probably have my ass in Gaza, or I'd be sitting at Union Station with my other veterans, right? It just would be one of those things. And so since I can't do that, I'm using the platform, every mechanism that I have. And if all of us did this, folks, this is how we end things. This is how we save Gaza and help the children. So Jeremiah, you had a question real quick.
Kind of a question statement. First of all, Dr. Mimi, I just want to thank you for everything that you're doing. I want to thank you for your time, your compassion, your care. The only thing I would say is I'm so sorry that you're a Sox fan.
You better.
I know that must be difficult for you. But I wanted to address what you said at the beginning, that you're not a hero. It's the people in Palestine that are the heroes. And while I believe that's true, I think our initial reaction to your heroism is due to the lack of humanity that so many people see in the world today. And so I just never want you to downplay yourself, your advocacy, your efforts. I think it's absolutely amazing and beautiful. And I just want to thank you for all that you do. And Davy, thank you so much for having her here today. And y'all, we got 310 people in here, 312. So we should have 312 circles being influenced with amazing information today. Thank you so much for all that you do, Dr. Muir.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for saying.
Justin texts me and he's going to reach out to you. I'm excited about Justin because the Tennessee Holler has grown so much in the last like 6-7 years, and his reach is really good. And it's not that you haven't been on mainstream stuff, but what I love is he's independent and he's in Tennessee and it's red. And so he reaches people that some places don't. And I think that's also going to be a sweet spot, is finding as many places as we can to bring you into and I love the way that you said this at the beginning. You said I'm a hood rat doctor. I'm a hood rat ER doctor, just a regular everyday person. Yeah, same here. I'm just a regular. Listen, when my grandbabies are here, you'll hear them asking for stuff and crying because the work can't wait until things are perfect. Nothing is ever going to be perfect, and we just have to do the work. I will offer you the last bit to say anything that you would like to say to folks.
No, I think we talked about it. I mean, I'm here for questions. If you guys want to reach out to me, I try to look at all of my messages on Instagram. It's usually, if you follow me, I can get your messages. I think that's how that works. So I'm pretty responsive. Yeah, always happy to advocate and do stuff for Gaza.
Yeah, somebody said, how can we send things to Palestinians? I don't know that that's a thing. Is there?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's, the aid can't get in, right? It's very difficult to do that. It's sending things is near impossible. Even I can't personally even take what I want to take. If I could, I'd have like 30 luggage pieces to take in, but they don't allow it. So even if you found someone going in, it's near impossible. They make it near impossible to do.
Well, I appreciate you. I will stay in touch. I'm going to try to get you in with as many people as I know. And thank you.
Can I ask one very quick question?
No,
if that's okay?
Of course you can.
Dr. Syed. So I just wanted to know, have you been approached or asked or even thought about going in front of Congress to speak on your experiences? Has anybody approached you about that by any chance?
So earlier this year, I was in Congress trying to advocate and talk about what I saw there. But there was no real much interest. I mean, we talked to interns, basically junior interns. We never met with senior officials. I've tried to meet with my own U.S. rep, Marilyn Strickland, who I am a constituent of, by the way, who has refused to meet me directly. Her office staff is the only one that communicates and says, no, she doesn't have time to meet with you. You can meet with us via Zoom, but, she can't meet with you.
Oh, what's her name again?
Marilyn Strickland. Yes, I have called her out on it. Her office replied to a media agency recently and said, well, we were given, we never said we couldn't meet you. I mean, that's just not true. I don't want to meet with the staff. I want to meet with you, with my U.S. rep. Yeah. And so they just don't want to. When we did talk to even the interns when we were there, they weren't surprised. Even when we showed them the pictures and talked about what we saw and what we treated, some of my colleagues met with the actual senior officials and their U.S. rep, but they said the same thing. There was really no surprise, no shock in it.
I think it's because they know.
Yeah, we know, but there's nothing we can do. So, and there's a lot of solidarity with Israel. Of course, there was Israeli flags in front of most of the offices there when we were in.
Which is crazy to me.
Yeah, which, tells me that they're not interested in it.
Well, I'll tell you what I am seeing, and I don't know if you've seen this, but I've seen a couple of Democratic candidates in the last couple of days. Number one, say, I'm refusing to take AIPAC money anymore. And then 3 Democratic members of the House who previously took AIPAC money have signed on to the Block the Boom Booms from Israel Act. And so I think, we absolutely have to start calling all of those people out and on social media and tagging them all the place, because they can say no to you in private. But when 1,000 people turn around and tag Marilyn Strickland on social media, and I'm not by any means saying that you all should do this, I'm just saying hypothetically, what might happen if like 1,000 people or 6,000 people all tagged Marilyn Strickland and said, why won't you meet with Dr. Mimi Syed and talk about Palestine? It would be interesting to see what might happen if everyone posted on social media that Marilyn Strickland in Washington, who's a member of Congress, refuses to meet with Dr. Mimi Syed. Again, not saying that everyone should go do that, but I'm just saying, I wonder what it would look like. Yeah, I think that's her name, Marilyn Strickland.
Yeah. I mean, and I've called her name out on Democracy Now! And on other interviews, and I've written an op-ed about her refusing to meet with me. It's not a secret. I think her office knows.
But it's one voice. It's one voice. I wonder what would happen when 1,000 like regular people all of a sudden. I wonder what happened. I wonder what would happen if even 100 people wrote letters to the editor, all to the like Washington Post. And what would happen if like 200 people wrote letters to the to the New York Times about this specific thing? It tends to have a different impact. Yeah, y'all know I love me some good trouble. I love good necessary trouble.
You said it, Danny, not me.
I did. And I'm not saying people should. I'm just hypothetically saying I wonder what would happen, and I wonder what that would look like and what it could generate.
What you're saying.
Yeah,
I hear what you're saying. It's interesting, the power of people, right? Like, I think we underestimate a lot of our voice. Even if, like, we're hood rat doctors like me, like, we just underestimate what we can do and what the power or the gravity of our voice.
What's that thing? Small group of people. And I believe that we are that, and we can do that, and we will do that. I appreciate you 100% for being the human being that you are, not just for like Gaza and all of that, but listen, there's a lot of physicians that could be doing what you're doing and they're not. And so that does make you exceptional, and that does make you amazing. And it makes you a great example of what we need more of in our healthcare system and just in the world in general. So I appreciate your time. She's not in Palestine right now. She has done two tours in Palestine, and she was denied entry by the Israeli government. Nance said, I'm in. I'm writing today. Love that, Nance. Let me know how it goes. But I appreciate you very much. And I will see you on Saturday.
All right, okay. Perfect. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Saturday. See you later.
Bye.
Big W, Danny. Amazing lives. Amazing.
Well, thank you.
انت مره بتناديني يا ابو عمر، مره بتناديني يا ابو خالد.
انا بحبك ابو خالد. ابو خالد بحبك.
شو ما بدك تناديني ناديني حبيبي.
لا انت ابو خالد، صوتك بعد العمر.
كيفك الجميع؟ الحمد لله. بدي سلامتك.
Yes.
She doctor in hospital, Nasser Hospital, yes?
Yes, she was. She was in Nasser August of 2024,
Nasser
and then
hospital.
Yep, and then she was.
I want to ask she one question, but okay.
No, she'll be here Saturday.
Maybe she already answered, Aziz. شو اللي بك السؤال؟
كنت بدي اسالها بس توصف لنا يعني يوم ما كانت يوم احداث استشهاد اخوات الصحفيين. انا كنت نفسي تعطيني الصوره، لانه كانت حكت في تصريح انه كان يوم فظيع، فانا كنت حاب اسمع من لسان من عينها شو شافت شو حكت، لانه 314 انسان حر على البث. كنت حاب تسمع منها شو اللي كان يوميها.
حكت في الموضوع قبل ما دخلت انت، حكت في الموضوع بس للجميع. So he wanted to say he wanted to ask her about the double tap strike on Al-Nasser Hospital and what her thoughts and so on were.
She talked about it.
I told him, I'm like, oh, she absolutely did. She talked about it before he came in.
Yeah, she sure did. And so remember that this is on Facebook and it's on YouTube as well. So anybody that missed it, you can go watch it on those platforms in between now. And then she will be back with me again on this Saturday at the same time. So it'll be Saturday morning. She'll be with me again. And I will, but it'll be different. So TikTok, you'll be the one watching somebody else next time, the way that everybody else was watching her on TikTok. I'm going to have her over on this side of the world, and then TikTok will be able to watch her through there. So I wanted to go ahead, Aziz.
اوكي انا بس حابب ابو خالد، بس حابب احكيها
بس شوي علي. شوي علي.
اوكي كنت بدي اطلب منها هناك عندما بتخرج أي إنسان من أي مرحلة دراسية ويتعلم مهنة أو حالة طب، مهندس، محامي، صحفي، يكون هناك قسم. القسم حول العالم لكل الأطباء. القسم هو الدخول لقطاع غزة. القسم يعني إعانة أهل قطاع غزة. القسم يعني مساعدة الإنسانية في كل مكان. وأجدر في كل، أنا بدعوها تدعي كل أطباء العالم للدخول إلى غزة، لفلسطين، لناصر، للشفاء، للمعمداني، للمكان اللي أنا فيه الآن اللي هو خلص إحنا بالأخير، لأنه حال غزة صعب. أتمنى هي تعمل نداء لكل أطباء العالم. وأنا مشكورك داني على هذا اللقاء معها. ثانكس والله. لونا زداد حبيبي، الله يرضى عليك، وتشرفت اخوي ابو خالد. يسعدك.
So this is what I'm taking from Aziz. So he's basically stating that he wanted to talk to her about and to you about making sure that everybody, whatever trade you're in, whatever position you're in, is to continue speaking on Palestine because we are reaching the end days, right? We don't have much longer. We don't have much longer in this fight, and we have, the situation is very dire. That's what I took from what he was saying. Again, it's hard for me sometimes to translate the dialect, but that's pretty much what I took from him.
Got it. Absolutely.
Danny, can I add something to what you were saying about the 3 congressmen that came out and they presented this HR 3565?
So for the person,
yes?
Yeah. So for the person who was asking, does Marilyn Strickland have social media? That's her Facebook. Just so everybody knows, since I was asked, again, I'm just answering questions from interested people. And listen, for those of you who asked me, give me 1 second, DJ K. So for those of you who asked me, how do you get around not being a constituent? So you don't have to request to talk to her at all, but you can absolutely email members of Congress. And she's in Washington State. And listen, you can write a letter to the editor, or you can make social media posts and tag her on social media. You don't have to be her constituent to do that, since you asked. Not saying you should do that, but I'm just saying that you are able to do that. Go ahead, DJ K.
No, and then just real quick, if Aziz is gonna continue needing translation, Rima is an amazing translator. There she is.
Yep.
Salam, Rima. But I wanted to just say in regards to AIPAC and these lobby groups, right? So Trump yesterday apparently was interviewed on the Daily Caller, and here's what some of the quotes that he made, right? Some of the statements. Israel was the strongest lobby I've ever seen. They had total control over Congress, and now they don't. So they're starting to recognize this. He also said Israel's ironclad backing in Congress now is a thing of the past. So I just want to put this out there, right? So all of our voices, everything that we have been stating, all of this pressure that we're putting on, it is absolutely working. It is moving in the right direction. Please continue with this pressure. Continue calling out AIPAC. Continue calling out the influence the ADL and the Heritage Foundation have on our government here in the United States, because it is working, guys. It might be slow, but I would say it's absolutely working, and it will continue to grow. That movement will continue to grow.
100%. Agreed. I absolutely agree. For those of you guys who are interested, do you remember when we've talked about this previously, about how you get maybe the attention or information about your elected official? So I just looked up, because y'all know this is my thing. This is what I like to do. So hold on. I almost broke the whole damn stand. Sorry. I got a little excited. Can y'all tell? So let me do this. I'm going to make me bigger just so that everybody can see this. And I'm going to flip my camera around. And I think I am. What am I looking at? Oh, okay, there. Okay, so this is the absolute, this is the Strickland for Washington. So this is Marilyn Strickland's campaign finance information. So if you go to the FEC, you can see that in 2026, right, for 2025 to 2026, she's got $470,000 worth of stuff, right? Her total contributions are $466. You have the ability. So this is individual itemized contributions, other committee contributions. So it's easy. Just go in here and take a look and see who is she getting money from, right? What does that look like? So what is the source's name? What's the amount that she's getting? So I like to always sort from the largest amount down, right? And this is individual stuff, right? So, but you can do this with PACs as well. You can go back to the last time she ran for office and find that information. So, you know, when you're looking at
Miss Danny?
Yes.
Hey, Danny. Hey, how are you, first of all?
I'm good, love. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I only have 10 minutes to translate what Aziz is saying.
Okay, go
I
ahead.
apologize. Is that okay? Because I do
Yeah.
have to drop for a meeting. I apologize.
No, you're good. Go for it.
ريما يعني ريما الان انا بحكي معك وحزامات ناريه ما بينه وما بينها مربعين سكنيين ما بينه وما بين الحزامات الناريه الان تطلق على قطاع غزه، ويبدو انه الجيش الاسرائيلي الان استعد فعليا لدخول قطاع غزه على لسان رئيس الجيش الاسرائيلي. وزير الجيش الاسرائيلي اعلن انه الان سيتم دخول قطاع غزه، ستكون هناك همه عاليه في التعامل مع القطاع، ويبدو ان الهجمات الناريه بلشت فعليا في قطاع غزه. يبدو انه احنا الان بالمرحله الاولى رسميا لدخول قطاع غزه، دخول ناعم يا ريما.
So he's saying this. What's happening right now is about 2 blocks away from him. There is it's called a ring of fire. And so a ring of fire is when they use different weapons to unalive the civilians. Usually they'll use drones along with tanks, tank shelling, as well as F-16 bombardment all at the same time. He says that the defense ministry or the Knesset in the I-state has openly and officially said that they are going into Gaza like they tried to do a few days ago in Hayy Zaytoun, and that they are going in one way or another. They're saying that he's seeing that it might be a little bit softer right now, but they want to complete the mission, or like Trump calls it, as well as Bibi Netanyahu, get the job done, where they are, of course, unaliving innocent civilians. You can hear it and you can see on the big screen. اتفضل يا عزيز عشان أنا كلامي ووقتي مؤقت. تفضل.
أكيد ريما، يعني إن شاء الله إنه يعني هاي الخطوة مش متخوفين منها، كثير مرغوبة أهل غزة، ولكن أغلب الناس موجودة في الشمال وما فيها طلوع من الشمال، لأنه طلع من الشمال خروج الروح من الجسد، افهموها هيك. طلعوا الناس أول مرة ما بيعيدوها، أصلا ما في إمكانيات ليعيدوها للخروج، وما في أصلا أماكن. كل الناس فوق بعض في الدائرة في الوسطى، والجيش بيهدد بعد الانتهاء من مرحلة غزة سينتقل للوسطى. يعني هو وين بده يودينا؟ هذا السؤال اللي بطرحه. الله يعطيك العافية ريما.
This is that everyone is petrified, of course, in Gaza. Because of this terrorism that we are seeing. He said that there's something that's very important that we need to look at. The people that are in the north are stuck in the north. They understand that leaving the north would be basically them leaving this earth. There are no safe zones in Gaza, but what they're doing is they're moving them around like cattle from the north to the south. And while they're moving, of course, they're being unalived while they're doing that. He said he just wants to draw your attention. He said the same thing is happening while they're trying to herd them all into one area, especially into the middle of Gaza, which is Deir al-Balah, and other cities that are surrounding. Guys, just so we can understand, there's nowhere to go. There is nowhere to go. You can't even go into the ocean. Your pew-pew, you can't go into. There's nowhere to hide, which is why they flattened Gaza in the first place. اتفضل بس يا عزيز مع آخر كلماتك عشان أنا بعدها يا غالي.
ثانكس ريما، الله يرضى عليك. مشكورة، شكرا ريما.
بدك تقول إشي للموجودين أو للحاضرين؟
بدي سلامتك. أكثر من هيك ما بنحكى.
الله يسلمك ويحميك يا غالي. Allah يخليك. Danny, he says thank you to you. Thank you to everyone listening. Aziz, of course, is a dear friend of ours, and he's really and he also I'm gonna bet for him that in his bio there is a GoFundMe if you guys are interested in that. And of course, Corn's help. He's out there helping others, and of course, reporting on what's happening on the ground. Danny, thank you so much. I'm here to help. Inshallah, if you need.
إن شاء الله ريما، إن شاء الله ريما يساعدني إن أنزح من جوا غزة لجوا غزة.
Inshallah, he said so he can migrate from inside of Gaza to inside of Gaza. يا سيدي الله يحميك. Thank you, Danny. I'm gonna go ahead and drop my love.
Appreciate you, Rima. Thank you, sis.
Thank you. You're welcome, love.
Okay, so oof, I'm yanking stuff out. I'm all over the place because I'm mad at the same time as I'm typing and I'm thinking about what to do. So you guys don't ever have to thank me, guys. Like seriously. I don't feel like I'm doing, you know what I mean? Like I just no.
No, we don't know I don't know what you mean, to be honest, Danny, because I'm going to thank you every single day that you open up a live, every single day that you bring up people from Gaza. I'm going to thank you until my last breath, even when Palestine is liberated, because it's people like you that have actually given me a voice, that have given Aziz a voice, Sophia a voice, Abu Siraj a voice. And I have literally seen you. You're standing 10 toes down. Just by you opening your platform for Dr. Mimi Syed is amazing. And I will thank you. I don't care if you say you don't have to.
Yeah, like it's like to me, it's the least. You know what I mean? It's the least that whatever. I guess it's like how she feels. It just is. I wish I could do more. You know what I mean? I wish. Like where the fuck is Don Lemon on TikTok? I know, Don, you said I'm your favorite TikToker, but damn it, you should be having Mimi Syed on your platform. I'm just saying there are people that have the reach that could be doing this, that aren't doing this. And so I don't really care if you say, oh, what Israel's doing is a G-side, if you're not also using everything that you have in your power to bring the facts out, right? So I went live on Facebook before this live to say, hey, I'm going to be live. If you aren't sure about this, if you have questions, if you doubt, if you whatever, come at 11 o'clock. I'm going to have a physician on. I want you to hear this is her firsthand account. This is not anything else. This is a firsthand account, right? And because I want as many people as possible. And I hate it when I hear, and I know what Aziz is saying when he says we don't have a lot of time. I hear it. And which is why I'm just like, you know what I mean? Yeah, Snooker, I know. And this is my thing. So now I'm like, I'm already back in people's campaign donations because it's one of the things that is really important because we have to be holding everybody accountable, every member of the press, every member of every corporation that is financing this. Somebody immediately said that when they went to Mimi Strickland's page, they found her with a picture with freaking BB in 2024. So I don't know. I haven't looked at it yet, but there's also, in addition to AIPAC, there's Christians United for Israel. That's another political action pact that people need to be looking at. Folks, to me, if you are not talking about what's happening in Gaza, if you are not talking about what's happening in Palestine, you need to do a gut check. There's something missing. There's no because if you have, I hear people all the time say, oh, well, if I had been alive during the transatlantic slave, whatever, I would have ABCD XYZ. Whatever you are doing right the fuck now is what you would have been doing then. Do you hear me? Yeah, John, and I'm familiar with John Hagee. Listen, I can go all the way. So I just want to be very clear about this. It's so funny. I saw somebody the other day, a friend of mine, love her, mean it. Like really, love her, mean it. But so apparently there's this thing now about Black men who are Irish. Apparently people didn't know that Irish people come in all colors too. And so now there's like a Black Irish dude TikTok thing, and all of them are talking about the Black Irish men zaddies that are out there. And I'm thinking, I don't know how that can be a focus. I don't know how. Oh, and Scottish too. See, y'all know, whatever they are. I don't even know. That's how much fucking attention I pay. I don't even get it right. But this is what I'm saying to you is you can't, I don't want to see another Chris Brown dance. I don't want to see another people do a Chris Brown challenge. I want you to do a Free Palestine challenge. That's what the fuck I want you to do. I want you to do a Free Palestine, hold Israel accountable, arrest Bibi Netanyahu challenge. That's what I want to see.
All
all day long.
Like, that's what I want to see, right? You want to learn a new dance? We need a damn choreographer to come up with a free Palestine dance. So it goes viral.
There's a Depka challenge. Go do the Depka challenge.
See some...
Look it up. I put it in the chat, guys. And really, if you love to dance and you want to post, go do that. Because that will definitely bring attention.
There we go. Yeah, I'm just saying, like, this is how we have to be focused, because I will tell you all, right? We have to do everything that we can. Everything. Because now that they know their support is dwindling, they are going to amp things up more than likely, right? Because from a military standpoint, that is what would make the most sense. So if we know that they are losing support, then we have to apply as much pressure as possible, as consistently as possible, as often as possible. Yeah, Mama Dukes, I saw them say that. Listen, I need for everybody to understand, y'all know how I get down. If somebody that is on the panel, if DJK, A Money, Rima, Abu Saraj, Aziz, if somebody says, hey, that's so-and-so, bring them up, cool, right? I can't, because it may or may not be a thing. And there are a lot of other lives and other spaces where they bring people up specifically for that. And so I'm just not. I'm going to be careful and responsible with the space. I just am. So, but I'm just going to tell you, right, your lawmaker's website, all of the things. And do y'all know how powerful social media is? I'm telling you right now, you really want to get your elected officials' attention, go take one of their public pictures of them in office. Take a picture of them on their last, I'm not telling you to do this. I'm giving you a hypothetical, right? Hypothetical. Imagine if you were posting, for example, a picture of your congressperson on fucking vacation, beside a picture of what's happening in Gaza, right? And then tagging them along with their campaign contributions that maybe they received from Kufi or from AIPAC, right? You know, do y'all know that people are still posting that picture of Rafael Cruz when he took his ass to Cancun when nobody else had shit? Remember that? Remember when Rafael took his ass on vacation when everybody in Texas was suffering? They are still posting that picture. This is what you need to be doing. While this is happening, you're on vacation and you're in office because of this money that you got from so-and-so. This is how you do the work. And tag their asses. If you're going to do it, I recommend tagging them on social media. And I tag local news, tag state news, national news, because that is how you get people attention. They love doing shit in the dark. Turn on the lights. Turn on the lights so everyone sees them.
So Danny, can I just add something to that if you don't mind?
Absolutely.
I just want to bring things into perspective. Okay, so there's a brother on this app. His name is Maher, and he lives in Connecticut. Okay, he's an American citizen. His wife's an American citizen. His children are as well. So his wife and his son went to Palestine. They're from the West Bank. And they were there for the summertime. They were trying to get back, and as they were trying to leave, the Israeli government held his wife. Okay, she's an American citizen, by the way, and they held her. They're refusing to let her leave. His son is missing the first 2 weeks of school. Again, they're American citizens, and this is to the power of social media, guys. So he made one post about this. All of us reposted it, and it literally made the news in Connecticut, and now it's going mainstream. Not only to that extent, his literal senator and congressmen are actually calling out, speaking out against this and calling Israel out for this. So this is the power of social media, guys. All it takes is literally one post. For all of us that's sitting here stating that we are here for Palestine and for justice and humanity, that's all it takes is to share a post, repost it. And now throughout my entire FYP, all I'm seeing is different news broadcasting stations, speaking on it and speaking on it and speaking on it and calling it out. Reposts are simple. It costs you absolutely nothing, and this is all we have to do, guys. Literally, if you don't have the money to do anything, that's fine. Repost, share the information. It goes a long way. So I wanted to just add that.
100%. I haven't seen Mohammed's cake in a minute.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone.
Alaikum salam, Mohammed.
وانا حمود. ابو خالد كيف حالك؟ هيا ابو خالد معنا دي جي كيك.
هذا ابو خالد، محمد ابو خالد.
طبعا
حبيبي انا محمد، انا ابو محمد.
How are you, Daddy?
I'm good, brother.
I'm good. How are you, Mohammed?
How are you, everyone?
Yeah, and so Witch is saying Not My Tax Dollars is also a great site as well. So Mohammed and Aziz, or as A-Money would say, Aziz, they are both Palestinian journalists that are on the ground. Aziz is up north. I'm not sure where Mohammed is, but if you have the ability and you would like to gift and to support them, remember they use the coins from TikTok to turn it into money. And when they can do it with their phones, if they're able to, some of them can do it with their phones. They don't lose as much of their money. So when they have to transfer it, they only lose about 5% versus 40 to 60%. So just saying.
محمد انت وين بغزة؟ في الجنوب ولا في الشمال؟
أنا والله لا في الشمال ولا في الجنوب، أنا في الوسطى في تقريبا منطقة الزوايدة بين دير البلح والنصرات.
So he is actually in the middle of Gaza, been the Nusayrat and Deir al-Balah. So he's in the center, in the middle of Gaza.
Okay.
So I just wanted to put that out there.
اصلا ما عنده بيت يروح عليه راح بيته.
Aziz is saying he doesn't even have a home to go to. His house is gone.
انت عارفين احلى شيء في الموضوع محمد راح بيته واحنا على الهواء على سطح برج الغفري كنا، فانضرب البيت تبعه وهو بتطلع عليه، كان بيخلق اهله من ساعتين ثلاثه، فانسى يوم كان كارثي بامتياز. بس صراحه يعني الله يعيننا عند الخروج من غزه، والله اخوي ابو عمر كان خروج صعب، فكلنا تعذبنا مع بعض فيه.
Allah يحميكم يا رب. So he's saying that Muhammad even watched his home get demolished and taken out by the occupation. Muhammad is saying his internet connection is very bad, so
yeah, I saw him.
Sure he'll try to join. But look, you see how even Aziz is sitting there and they're trying to, make, like jokes and be. It's absolutely insane, right? And I understand it because there's a lot of panels. Like we'll sit on Imani's panel, like even last night with Emil Abed, and we'll sit there and we'll just joke, right? Because it can't always be serious,
right?
Even though the situation is very serious, but we have to, just kind of make them humanize it, right? Like literally just sit there and just try to make things as it's difficult. It really is, but
yeah, 100% it is. And here's my thing. Y'all know it's the whole laugh to keep from crying. It's the whole laughter is therapy. It's the whole, you know what I mean? Like you would have to at this point, because what else is there? Right, Kira, joy is resistance. And so I think that all of us can play our part and our role in that. So I told you, listen, before the live today, DJK, I listened to nothing but 90s music, and then I hit go-go. I was in my go-go mood all the way up until I was doing. If y'all don't know what go-go music is,
by the way, W90s music all day, W80s music too. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I was all about that life this morning because I knew listening to Dr. Mimi was going to be heavy, right? I knew that, and so listen, you have to do. I told people, you know what I told people on Facebook this morning? I said, I don't care what you need to do. If you need to pray, if you need to meditate, if you need to go put your feet in the earth, like whatever it is you need to do to get yourself in the space to be able to hear the information that needs to be heard, do that. And please don't censor yourself 100%, because all we're doing is hearing it. They are living it. They are living it. So if it is that hard for you to hear it, imagine what it must be like to live it, right? So suck it up and do what needs to be done, right? Do whatever you can. So, oh wait, is it Hala, Sammy? Hella. I'm learning, Sammy.
You live
Hala big, yeah.
Salamat DJ. Danny, You speak Arabic. Hala.
Hella. No, they taught me.
No, this is good work.
Yeah.
This is good work. Who told you it's not good? Who told you it's not good?
No. They did tell me it was good. No, I'm just saying. Yeah, I didn't know. You said you know Arabic. Nope. They just told me. I know a few.
سامي جاي بتقول لك مشتكت لك جاي مشتكت لك يا سامي هي بتقول لك بالكومنتات.
صاحبنا اخونا جي بي اس سلامات اخوي جي بي.
Oh, have you had the opportunity to meet JBS TikTok Dad by any chance, Danny?
Yeah, we were on. I don't know. I joined somebody's panel and he was on one time, and I saw him, and that was it.
He's amazing.
I think I joined one of your panels a couple of weeks ago, Danny. I couldn't resist to come up. First of all, I think DJ said it well in terms of gratitude, especially when you have this size platform to amplify the voices that can't be amplified is amazing. I also couldn't resist to come up and say hi to Aziz, Kifak, Sami, and Muhammad. It's been a while.
هلا باشا حبيبي هلا.
يا هلا حبيبي شو اخبارك؟
Yeah,
الحمد لله انت بخير احنا بخير الله يرضى عليك.
انت مشتاقين لك والله. دائما نسمع منك من عدم نسمع عنك مظبوط؟
طبعا.
كيفك محمد شو اخبارك؟ I wanted to come up and
الله
say
يسعدك جباس الحمد لله على كل حال. انا سبقوني لانه
اهلين حبيبي.
انك ضعيف كثير لانه انا جاوب على السؤال انه انا
the
موجود في
internet
المنطقه
connections
الوسطى في منطقه
slack,
بين النصيرات
and so there's a delay.
الله يحمي الجميع. Danny, just a couple of things if I can add to what you're saying.
Yeah.
In terms of PAC money, DMFI and also J Street, and there's one other one in addition to APAC that support lawmakers. Especially if you go to Open Secrets, you can see how much those PAC agencies give money. Remember, APAC is not a registered lobbying agency under law. It's giving illegal. It's basically illegal as the way they present money. Now, Kufi doesn't so much provide lobbying money, but it does have influence over policy.
Yes.
And so just be cognizant of that. There's one other. NOPAC, I think, is the other one. J Street, DMFI, and one other. And if anyone's interested, there is a video in my feed that I talk about lifetime donations to various lawmakers. You all can go in there. But I did want to come up and say hi. I have class starting in about 5 minutes. Some students coming in. I did want to say hello to everybody and wish them the best. I couldn't resist coming up and say hi to those two guys. I've known them now for 2 years. DJ K-Man, always good to see you, Habibi. As always, Luna's dad. Much love, brother. Good to see you, man, as always. Danny, you and I do have to come up on one of your lives one day and just chat for a while. Just the timing with me on the West Coast and classes conflicts. But I peruse by every now and then and listen to you. And I love the energy, love the commitment to the cause. Because not only do you amplify this cause, I've heard you talk about other causes. So I appreciate you. I know you don't like the gratitude, but hey, we're human beings, so we have to express it. So I appreciate you as always. And God bless everybody, and hopefully I can come back if you're still on in the next hour. So if not, I'm sure we'll catch each other on the next live.
Yeah, absolutely. Always welcome. Appreciate you. Inshallah, JBS.
يلا حبيبي. Bye-bye.
ضلك صار علينا يا سيدي سلامات.
So for
WGB والله every time والله.
Oh my gosh, I love them so much. Y'all just wait. You're gonna look up one day and you're gonna see me go live from Gaza City. And it's going to be a thing. It is going to be a thing.
You know, I know English.
Yeah.
Yes, but I am afraid about continue to work. بس يعني فدري بالك علينا غزة كلها ما شاء الله عليها.
طب ليش ما بتحكيش انجليزي اذا بتعرف انجليزي يا عزيز؟
لانه مش فاضي. انا بحب صوتك يطلع يا ابو خالد.
يا زلمه انت الترجمه عندي مش نافع الترجمه عندي والله انك عارف.
لا حبيبي ان شاء الله. لا انت اكثر اقناع انسان حانا. انا بحبك تتعب عشان تاخذ الاجر معنا
حبيبي.
احكي لهم اياه احكي لداني عشان لها اجر كمان. هي بتحكي عن صوتنا كمان ولو
داني انت ما بتحكي عن صوت شو So I just wanted. I was messing with him. I was like, bro, if you know English, why do you have me translating for you all this time?
Yeah.
W Daddy.
Yeah.
W.
W-I-Z. So I do. Oh, wait, Muhammad was speaking.
Sorry, I want to add bad news. Today we lost our college journalist, Rasmi Salim. He just passed away by targeted him by drone in a Shepherd One town, north Gaza Strip. Today, the journalists reached 247 journalists were unalive.
Good gosh. So he's saying that they lost 2 journalists today. I believe he said by drone.
Yeah, that's what he was saying.
Yeah.
And even yesterday, there was another journalist. Her name was Islam as well. They continue to target journalists.
Not Islam.
لا عارف كنت الهوكرة امبارح ولا أول امبارح إن استشهدت صفحية إسلام.
صحيح.
So has anybody seen Mohammed OS or Bilal today?
I have not, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I have not.
صحفية إسلام عابد.
Her name was Islam Abid. He stayed.
Islam Abid. Okay. Yeah, I'm okay. I'll be looking for them today. You know, I saw Sammy already, so I feel good about that. I haven't seen Mohammed OS today. I haven't seen Bilal today.
Okay, sister, you
Yes.
you can up هبة زقوم in comment إذا في مجال دي جي.
إذا في هبة قاعدين. Are you requesting Hiba? So if you see Hiba, Hiba Zakum, she's also, if you can rise her, he's asking. Okay.
Hi everybody, how are you?
Hiba. انت راح ترجمين Hiba.
لك يا زلمة سكامة. I've known Aziz for 2 years.
Yeah.
Hi Danny, how are you?
زقوم أحلى.
I've known Aziz for 2 years, and every time he says my last name, he does it on purpose though to piss me off, but it's okay. He's alive.
He called me Abu Khalid and Abu Umar, and I'm really Abu Muhammad. That's what he called me. So
I like this name.
I'm like, my name is Abu
I
Muhammad.
like this name.
Hi Muhammad, how
I
are
like
you?
this name.
Hi Danny, this is the first time that I've been up here.
How are you,
Nice
sister?
meeting you.
It's good to see you.
Yes, you're
It's
welcome.
always good to see you, Muhammad. Just so you know, my main purpose in this movement is always to translate for the journalists. So wherever they are, I usually follow. I've been a little MIA the last couple of months for personal reasons, but if you ever need me, just call me and I'll do my best to show up. I did. Are you okay with me mentioning GFM for the journalists?
Yeah, we actually, yeah, you can mention them. And for the ones that I know of, Lisa has taken them. We've put them in my link tree. It's at the top in my link tree. So I don't know if we, Lisa, if you're in here, I don't know if we have the GFM for Mohammed and Aziz, but if we don't, we can go grab them from their profiles and put them into the link tree.
Yeah, you guys, we definitely appreciate it. Look, I know that everybody's kind of tapped out the last couple of years. It's been a lot. We've asked a lot of everyone.
Thank you, Lisa.
But if anybody deserves support, it's the journalists.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know, we wouldn't know what we know if it wasn't for them. They risk their lives on a daily basis to document what's happening. And again, like, I think it bugs me most when I see people who have done nothing for the cause having all of these coins just thrown at them left and right.
Yeah.
You know, when they're doing their little battles and things like that. And I know that for a lot of people, like, that's their jobs, that's their livelihood, and they've been doing this since before the genocide. But at the same time, like, please split your attention at the bare minimum and put it where it should go.
Yeah, we typically take care of the journalists here. So like yesterday, I think there were 4 or 5 of them, and each of them got 10,000 coins or so yesterday. I don't do battles, even though this is my livelihood. I'm also a disabled veteran. And so I just don't get down like that. Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
Jeremiah is too, Luna's dad is, but we typically, GJK knows this. We bring the journalists up, and we bring up Sophia. And other than that, that's about it.
That's it.
I think a lot of the problem lies to what he was stating, that there's a lot of people that would put the Palestinian flag in their profile or in the backdrop.
Yeah.
And they would do battles, and they profit off of the blood of our people, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And that in itself is absolutely disgusting and despicable. So that's really where our frustrations come. And I have the same frustrations as Hiba does, to be quite honest.
Yeah. That's why I said, even though there's like other people that will request up, if somebody else doesn't vouch for them, I don't, because unfortunately I know that it exists. I know that there are people who will claim that they are in Gaza and they're not. There are people who will, use that. And so if they're not, if somebody that I already have a relationship with doesn't vouch for them, I just don't bring them up.
Yeah, we definitely, I appreciate that. I noticed that you mentioned that earlier, and I absolutely agree with you, because sadly over the last 2 years we've come across so many people who have taken advantage of the good hearts of those who want to help genuinely, and it's unfortunate because the people on the ground really do need it. And especially for the journalists, you guys, you have to, I'm not speaking to you, Dana, I'm just speaking to everybody in here, but you guys have to understand that for them to be able to have the peace of mind to leave their families at home and go do what they're doing, because for a very long time they were separated, and even right now many of them are still separated, but for a little over a year they hadn't even been with their families, because a lot of them were in the south and their families were in the north, so they were completely they weren't able to see their kids, hold their kids or anything like that. But in order for them to at the bare minimum be able to have that peace of mind, like, okay, I'm going to go out and do my job and document what's happening, they at least need to know, hey guys, please don't send anything to me, thank you, but send to the journalists, I appreciate it. They at least have to know that their families are taken care of, that their families have, food and shelter, and it's really expensive. It's insanely expensive. So even those who have access to it, it costs an arm and a leg. So when we're talking about the GFMs, and we're talking about, supporting all of these journalists with the coins, it's quite literally life-saving for them. So whatever you can muster up, whether it's to the GFMs or through the coins, it's appreciated. They prefer the GFMs just because, TikTok takes quite a big chunk of it.
Yep.
So if you're able to go directly to those links, whether it's in Danny's profile or on their personal profiles, and go through that route, that would be, very much appreciated. And it doesn't have to be anything expensive. I mean, if each person did $5, like, that would make such a huge, it's not about what each one of us can do individually. It's about the collective effort. So thank you for letting me rant for a little bit.
Yeah, no, you're good.
I can stay for a little bit if you need me to translate. Yeah, I can stay for a little bit. DJ, do you need to go?
No, I'm gonna stick around, but your translation is probably better than mine. I'll do my best.
Just by a little.
بس حابب انه بس بعد اذنك بس الترجمه بس لداني لكل المتابعين والمشاهدين. يعني الصحفيين في قطاع غزه مش فقط هم صحفيين او هم بعاد عن الناس، احنا زينا زي الناس وبالعكس اسوأ. ما بتتصوري كميه الصدمات النفسيه اللي فيه وفي محمد وباشرف في الكومنتات وفي كل الشباب الصحفيين، الصدمات النفسيه لحالها هذه قصه ثانيه. بتحكي عن موضوع توفير الغذاء، توفير الماء للاهل والعائله، وللاسف بيجي بتصالك مثلا القناه بتحكي لك اعمل لي تقرير عن الجوع وانت نفسك الجوعان. هذا هو قمه يعني العظمه في الموضوع. انا بكون ماشي بالشارع وتعبان وفارط من الجوع، حاسس بدوخه، بصور عن عائله مش لاقي تاكل، بحس انه انا شبعان مقابل هاي العائله الوضع صعب. هنا المشكله الكبيره. لهيك الصحفيين بيشتغلوا بدون لا معدات جيدة ولا بيشتغلوا في أدوات جيدة وفي أقل الإمكانيات، ولكن طلعنا صورة للعالم أظهرت الإنسانية كلها، واللي بده إنسانية يطلع لقطاع غزة. هذا هو الصحفي، لهيك إسرائيل بيتم استهدافنا يعني بطريقة مش طبيعية، مجنونة بعتبرها.
Yeah. So as Aziz is saying is that to remind people that journalists are not just journalists, but they're people too, and they're being affected the same way as everyone else on the strip, and their families are being affected the same way as everyone else on the strip. What people need to remember is that they are also hungry and they are also thirsty, and their families are also in need. Sometimes they get somewhat dehumanized in the sense that they're looked at as people just doing a job. But one of the things that happens is they'll be asked to do a report on the famine and everyone being hungry while they are simultaneously hungry themselves. So just to remember that they're human beings as well. And while they are doing all of this, they're still documenting what's happening. They're still showing people the truth. And that's why they're being targeted.
100%. Yeah.
So he just wanted to send that message out to everybody.
Yeah. Yesterday, Mohammed OS was was on with me, and we got a chance to see his beautiful little boy, little baby boy. He shared with us yesterday. I think we've also seen Sophia's daughter. And you know, we only put them up for just a second so TikTok doesn't get me. But what I find is that having those images and those experiences helps humanize them, and it lets people know that they are people and they do have families and they are experiencing all of these things. So it's like, you know, not just, oh, I talked to a Palestinian journalist today. No, I talked to a Palestinian dad today and a Palestinian mom today and a sister and all of those things. And it matters 100%. So no, but I appreciate that. I know Aziz is new to me, and y'all are all like, "Oh, I know Aziz," and I'm like, "Where you been all my life, Aziz?" Because I just got him. I just got him on my panel the other day.
We all have Aziz in our life. Let me tell you a little something.
I'm crazy, man.
You're crazy. Yeah, I'll agree with that one. Go for it. Let me tell you a little something. Aziz is one of those people that never complains. And whenever he comes into any room, no matter how bad the situation is, he always brings light to it.
Yeah.
He's a very lighthearted person, and he likes to joke around, and he doesn't like to be overly serious because their situation is already serious. And I think another thing sometimes, you know, and this has happened over the last 2 years, and it's been frustrating to watch, is if they ever see the journalists, you know, sitting in a panel in a room somewhere, joking around and having a good time and all of those things, how can you do that? What do you mean? How can you do that?
Yeah.
They need a moment of laughter, of joking, of not taking things seriously. They need that mental and emotional break. And again, it's that idea of dehumanization, like you have a job. Yeah, but your job isn't all that you are.
No.
And they have the right to do that. And Aziz is one of those who's always bringing light to just about everywhere he goes. So if you ever see him, you know, overly sad or depressed in any way or upset, it's because it's really, really bad.
Yeah.
You know, so that's an indicator of just how bad it is.
Got it. I want to say this. So there, sorry.
No, go ahead. He was just thanking her. Go ahead.
Yeah. So there's a lot of other information, and I'm only going to be able to be on this time for about another 20 minutes or so. DJK, my daughter is sick, so I have to get the girls off the bus. But I plan to come back and do either a second live tonight or a much longer one tomorrow. I don't even know what day of the week it is. Is today Tuesday or Wednesday?
Tuesday.
Okay.
Tuesday.
See, thank you. Holy jeez. I don't even know what day of the week it is, which is so sad, but it is what it is. Yeah. Okay. So, because one of the things that I think would be helpful is creating some context for where we are for people. Right, Cam, only Tuesday. And so things that because there was so much that I think people didn't know. People didn't know about the 1917 Balfour Declaration. People didn't know about the Nakba. People didn't understand that that it was literally white Western countries that told Israel they could have Palestinian land, which is fucking crazy because Palestine didn't belong to them. It was part of the Ottoman Empire at the time, right? And so basically, Palestinians are paying for the transgressions of the West, right? Not only for what Germany did, but for what other countries and the United States didn't do while Germany was committing that genocide, right? We didn't accept Jewish asylum seekers a lot during that time. And so there's just so many different reasons, but people don't know all of that. And they don't know that this cleansing has been happening, this ethnic cleansing, this genocide has been happening for almost 80 years now, just little bits at a time. And then it goes up. So I want to, at some point, it won't be today because there's not enough time, right? The occupation as well, to get into all the details of it. But that is something that I think would be helpful, just to give people the context of where we are. Dr. Emmy, you came up earlier, and I wanted to give you a chance because I would imagine you're going to talk about something from the medical perspective, from what Dr. Mimi shared with us. And I wanted to make sure that I didn't just skip over you.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having me up. It's nice to see you. And I'm hoping that your grandbaby is doing better.
Yeah.
I listened to her report. And, having a genuine and reliable source to give information about what's happening at the ground level is important. Sometimes our views of, and I can only speak for myself, our views of the events get a little bit jaded because of the inaccuracies of information that's being disseminated. So it was really enlightening to hear from her and to see what actually is going on. I mean, for those who have never been, and I'm going to assume that there's plenty of people that have never been exposed to conditions in which the unfortunate Palestinian communities have been exposed to during this 2-year plus war against them. This is the most inhumane and tragic situation in history. We are definitely on the wrong side of history on this.
Yep.
The United States has funneled so much money into this war against these people that it is just heinous.
Yep.
And I just can't begin to tell you how horrible it is to see and hear, because I did use some pictures and the images, you can't just remove the images once you see them.
Nope.
You just can't. They're
Nope.
in your brain, they're in your heart, and just the idea of knowing that the healthcare professionals that have been so brave and dedicated to helping these individuals in Gaza, the things that they've actually been exposed to. And yes, there is a sense of desensitizing yourself as a healthcare professional to many tragic events in trauma. So, and that goes along with the occupation itself, that when you're exposed to those things on a repetitive level, you do get desensitized. Because if you don't get desensitized, you're not going to be able to function.
Right.
So for them that have been exposed to these traumatic and heinous attacks on children and women, I mean, that is the future of their generation. All right, that is the future of this community.
Which is why they're targeting them.
Correct. So, if you deprive them of nutrition, you deprive them of infrastructure, that can shield them from being attacked, water supplies and food, creating a famine environment. You are literally creating generations of unhealthy individuals. So the survivors of this attack is going to experience a profound change in their structure.
Yep.
As humans. The children will fail to thrive. For those who do survive, they're going to be exposed to disabilities, illnesses, if they survive from these illnesses, these preventable events, because these diseases that are being manifested down there from poor water conditions and lack of food,
yep.
To me, that is the most profound insult that you can do to any human being. When
100%.
we are surrounded by so much of a surplus, why would you go out of your way to do this? And this is purposeful. This is not, oh, you know, we're not doing, no, this is purposeful. This is done on purpose.
Yep, 100%.
And the U.S., you know, from my perspective in reading what I have read and knowing what I know, have been co-conspirators in this.
100%.
So I do what I can, you know, to expose. You know, I post things. I share my post with my community. I try to shed light on the issues, and you know, I've been getting significant feedback. I wish I knew, and that's why I actually asked the question, you know, what can we do to help these individuals? Like, what is the most effective route to go to supply these individuals with the needed resources that they desperately need? And I don't want to give out the wrong information. I don't want to share the wrong information. So if there's anyone in this group, on this panel, that can actually reach out to me and give me those reliable sources.
Dr. Emmy, if you look in the chat, KLMTNA Foundation. Go ahead,
that's
DJ.
The actual account. That's the account name on TikTok, but it is the Clementina Foundation, and it's a foundation that we're actually we set up to actually support, right, and supply food kitchens and so on to help entire villages and so on and families get food. There's a lot of other things that we're looking to do as well, but that would be a great start, and we would appreciate anybody. And there is a website, and I can reach out to you individually if you'd like, Dr. Yumi.
Please do. I would appreciate that.
Because we will rely on funds and so on to help us with providing these soup kitchens and the food for families. Mm-hmm. So that's absolutely one.
It's not just about, you know, in my opinion, it's just not about providing the information that's out there. It's also being able to help, being able to assist in this horrific and heinous situation.
Yeah.
And it kills me. I mean, it just absolutely kills me to the core, because I've dedicated so many years of my life in healing people and taking care of people. And I can honestly tell you that my brain has a hard time processing how we can actually participate in this horrific situation for so many years.
And my brain doesn't. My brain just goes, this is the United States, United Stating. Like, this is what the fuck the United States government does. And whether it is to, like, this is why for me, like, I would love it if I were surprised or shocked or unable to comprehend. But when I look at the history of our country, the facts, listen, the United States government has been since showed us who they are, and we should believe them, which is exactly why we need new people in government. Right, Kira, colonizers should be colonizing. Right.
Absolutely. I mean, I have no problem saying that, you know, each and every person, and with that being said, the numbers of individuals on both sides of the island, on the political parties, have contributed to this nightmare. because they've accepted campaign contributions from these organizations that actually are in the midst of doing this, and they support this.
Yep.
So, 268 so far on the Republican side and 230 on the Democratic side. Both of them are synonymous in this insult.
Yeah, 100%. And by the way, they gave more money on the Democratic side because they needed to win them over. And one of the things that they do is they target minority candidates on the Democratic side, like Richie Torres and other folks who might have a hard time getting elected. And because they know that in order to run for office in this country, you need hundreds of thousands of dollars. And so, we'll give you some of those. You know what I mean? We just need you to be on this side of things. And this is where the American people have to say, you know what? Fuck all that noise. I'm going to be responsible. I don't need 100,000 ads in front of my face. I'm actually going to go look up who my candidates are. I'm going to call them and find out about their policies. I'm going to look up their voting track record. American citizens have to stop being, you want to get rid of Citizens United or the impact of it? Stop fucking relying on TV commercials and radio ads to tell you who your candidates are. Right? Look them up. Read about them.
Can I add to that? Actually, something that I've noticed is people don't vote down the ballot in general. A lot of people, when it comes to the general elections, the main elections, the presidential elections, when there is that time to vote, they don't actually know anything about who else is on the ballot. And I'm not just talking about your congressmen and your senators and all of that. I'm talking even about, they don't know who their mayor is. They don't know who their city council members are. They don't know who their school board members are. Their superintendents, even the people who are directly impacting them on a daily basis. They don't know who they are. They're just filling out whatever bubble comes easy to them. And that is, to me, an even bigger issue, because if you are not interested in the direct politics that are surrounding you in your own home, then how are you going to correctly figure out who you need to vote for on the national level? It's not just about the presidential elections.
It's definitely a human condition. It's an issue. It really is an issue. And it's something that I've noticed over and over again is people don't vote down the ballot. They just don't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So one of the things that we talk about, we've been here on the Space Live for a little over a year now, and we talk about that a lot. We talk about not just voting down the ballot, but we talk about running for office. We talk about looking up who your damn judges are, your magistrates. Like, it matters who those people are, especially the judges, because they are going to be the people interpreting law. And we are at a point right now in this country where we really understand how important the federal judges that have been appointed are, and the role that they are going to play in order for us to just even hold the line until we get to midterms. So it's just incredibly important for people to know that information. And let me just tell you something. Gone are the days where you can just vote party line all the way down the ticket. You can't do that. Not only because in last year's election, we had Republicans running as Democrats. We had that in Georgia for Loudermilk seat. There was a woman, I can't think of her name now. She was literally a song. If you went to, all you had to do was go to her page. She was everything GOP, MAGA up and down, running as a Democrat. And so you can't do that. You need to know who is who. Just because somebody is, whatever party doesn't mean that they align with the ideology, of you. So I'm just telling you all, like, you can't just be down the ballot. It should be illegal, but it is not. And here's the thing, when we talk about,
there's another thing about that is those individuals that do run under those platforms of that particular party, they get elected, and then later on they want to change their political affiliation.
Yeah. Well, that's what she was going to do. That was it. I'm going to get elected as a Dem, and then I'm going to change to being a Republican. And we had several of them that did that last cycle. And what's important for people to know about that is, like, here's when we say it should be illegal, here's my thing: it shouldn't have to be illegal, because people shouldn't do that shit, right? It shouldn't have to be illegal. And that's why we are partially in the conundrum that we're in right now, right? Where you have the president who is a felon, and people are like, well, if you can't be a felon and be in Congress, you shouldn't be able to be a felon and be in the president. Well, you shouldn't be able to, but nobody thought that the American people would elect the fucking felon to be in Congress. But here we are. Just saying.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I did want to add one thing, that the most sensitive piece about this to me as a healthcare professional is the fact that Dr. Syed had mentioned about the amputations of these children with a scissor.
A trauma scissor.
Oh, from a scissor, yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, I just can't, what is in people's minds when you get that visual? Do they think that they're getting anesthesia?
No,
because they're not.
Do they think that they're not going to succumb to secondary infections?
So I will tell you all this. I will put the link in my link tree, but there is another physician that I was listening to who talked about this very thing. And one of the things that he said is that some of the times because you have to change the bandaging, right? But because they don't have the materials that they need, they're literally taking skin and everything with it, with no anesthesia, but they have to do it because they know if they don't do it, there will be an infection.
Mm-hmm. Well, there still could be an infection no matter what, because you're exposing the wound multiple times to an environment where they may not even have the medicine, the antibiotics, the antiseptic solutions in order to cleanse, the wounds.
100%.
They may not have the sterility of the equipment that they're using. I mean, how do they sterilize their equipment?
Well, they can't.
They can't even sterilize their gloves, to be quite honest with you. I've heard even Dr. Perlmutter and Dr. Sidwa stating that they would have to literally wash their gloves and reuse them.
Yeah.
And then on another instance, they're actually coming up with new ways of, innovative ways of actually to treat these injuries, right? Because there's such a lack of medical instruments and supplies and so on that they're just having to come up with something on the fly and make it happen. So it's absolutely insane. And this is something that we've been saying, to be quite honest with you, for over a year and a half now. There is no anesthesia. It's heartbreaking as it is. I'm finally so happy to hear that the world is able to hear this, right?
Right.
The world is absolutely able to hear this. I'll leave it there, Danny.
Yeah.
I know you were going to jump in.
No, 100%. No, I was agreeing with you. And again, this is the thing. I wish that people understood this. This is what happens when you numb yourself, when you are no longer able to have compassion or empathy with individuals and with people. This is what happens. So when you have a combination of a loss of empathy and compassion, and at the same time, right, you have the dehumanization of a group of people, it gives permission for the unspeakable to be done. It gives permission for, atrocities to happen. And so the reality is that it is up to every single one of us. There's no question about, DJ.
Yes.
Sorry. No, never mind. Okay. They weren't requesting. Okay. Got it. But it's just, Sherry Blossom, I think people do have a soul. I think that here's what I think. I think that the United States of America specifically, the people in this country have become numb and conditioned. We have become conditioned based on the society in which we live on, right? This corporate capitalist, greed that doesn't trickle anywhere, right? the shit is stopped up. There's no trickle anyway. And I think that literally everybody has been kind of it's just like, well, this is what life is. And until you become aware of it, people stay like that, because in their world, they don't know anything about. All they know is they don't have enough money to feed their kids. All they know is their kids qualify for free lunch, or they're having to buy secondhand, or they're couch surfing. And so like, because we are being kept at a certain level, right? It leaves very little room to be outside of your own bubble. And so we have to be about doing that. Our systems aren't working. Not for everybody.
No, it's not. But again, you have to think about how this desensitizes people, because this repetitive insult of constantly seeing their deliberate actions to normalize bad outcomes for specific populations.
Right.
So we're doing it here in the United States with the immigrants, right? The Latino immigrants. They're doing it they're doing it towards another population overseas.
Let me ask you, hold on one second, Dr. Emmy. DJK, Mohammed, Mary? Is that a yes? I don't know what I'm doing.
I know him. He's in Gaza. But if you're getting ready to shut it down, to be quite honest with you, so we can wait till the next time if you like.
I know Muhammad wanted to say something a little while ago.
The journalist. محمد the one on the panel.
محمد كنت حابب تحكي شيء؟ ما بعرف إذا بدك تحكي شيء كمان.
السلام عليكم.
أهلا، يعطيك العافية.
صحيح. يعني احنا اليوم عدد الشهداء تجاوز عندنا ال 100 شهيد. كان اكثرهم موجود في مناطق انتظار المساعدات او كمائن الموت. تجاوز عدد الشهداء في هاي المناطق تقريبا اكثر من 20 شهيد. احكي جواب قصير عشان تقدر الترجمه.
بالعسكرية. So he's saying go ahead.
ما في مشكلة. أنا بس كنت عم أحاول أكتب بالشات وأنت عم تحكي، لأنه ما أنا مجهزة حالي للترجمة اليوم. أنا طلعت هيك يعني بس مشان ساعدكم شوي. He was saying that unfortunately today over 100 martyrs were unalived. Some of them, about 20 of them, were in areas of aid. So they're going to try and get help, whether that be medical or for food. And they were unalived while they were seeking help as well. تفضل محمد.
طبعا اليوم جانا خبر شوي حزين انه تم استهداف بيت خالتي في منطقة تل الهوى، وجميع عائلتها لخالتي تم اصابتهم اصابات خطيرة جدا. تم قصف المنزل بالكامل على رأس ساكنيه.
His aunt's entire family was targeted today in an area called Tel El Hawa. They have many injuries, so for him that's obviously like it hits close to home. And when in Arabic we have different words for different aunts, so when it's the mother's sister, it's khalti, and when it's the father's sister, it's amti. So specifically it's his mother's sister and her whole family who were targeted today, and they were injured severely.
Wow.
My goodness.
Folks, if you are able, because I am going to have to shut it down in about 8 or 9 minutes.
تفضل محمد، بس هي لانه بدها تسكر بس لا ولا يهمك، تفضل بس هي لانه بدها تسكر بعد شوي، فاذا بس اخر مقطع يعني
خلص خليها مش مشكله بتسكر، واكيد لما بتفتح وقت ثاني بنكون اعطيناها معلومات اكثر وتفاصيل اكثر، وبكون في احصائيات طبعا وصلتنا اذا حابه تفتح اليوم او في الليل يعني.
طيب he's saying that if you wanted to go ahead and close out, that he'll try and come back later if you plan on opening again, so that he can give you guys more information.
Yeah, tell him because I have to get my grandbabies off the bus. But what I'll do is I'll try to come back after I get them like down to bed. So it'll be like 7 hours from now. I don't know what time that is there.
They'll be back at 8 o'clock in the morning.
They're awake pretty much 24/7.
I figured as much, but yeah, so I'll be back around that time. So around 8:30, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time is when I'll be able to come back. And folks,
محمد هي بعد شي 7 ساعات هلا هي بدها تسكر لانه احفادها بدها تجيبهم وبعد شي 7 ساعات بدها ترجع هي تفتح اذا كنت موجود اهلا وسهلا فيك.
قريب عند الفجر عند وقت الفجر.
I feel like, and I just want to say this, it's difficult sometimes because I feel like if every time, DJ K, I think you'll know what I'm trying to say. It's difficult because there are no words, right? I feel like if I say I'm sorry for your loss, which of course I am, right? Dear God, you have to say that every damn day. Like there's no apology, like there's no words that are adequate to express what he is experiencing, what he's experienced today, what they're all experiencing. And so it just feels so lacking, like there's not enough. I don't know. I just feel, you know what I mean? Like it's hard.
It's hard for me as well, Danny. And something I always tell them is, Allah yahmikum, right? May God protect you guys. And that's really one of the only things that we can say, right? May God protect you guys. May God give you strength. And I'm in the same situation, Danny. I'll be honest with you. When you're hearing it over and over and over and over again every single day, you're seeing the images. It's heartbreaking. And it's a lot of times it's a lack of, I don't even have the words. I'll stay on mute sometimes.
Because what can you say? And it's like, because like, there's nothing, I can't even be like, oh my God, this is horrible. Shit, they know. I can't, there's nothing to say. And so, but what I will say is that, right, Donoski, it feels cheap, it falls flat. Yes, Cheryl, exactly. But what I do hope Mohammed knows, right, is that we do absolutely send him and his family lots of love and protection and all of those good things. I hope that he does know that, right?
Yeah, I think he does.
I can vouch for all of the journalists. Again, very personal relationship between them and I over the last 2 years, but just to give you a little bit of ease of mind is you simply being here is enough for them. They don't, they're not, you know, and I used to feel that way as well, but I noticed that for them, as long as you're there and you're continuing to talk about Gaza, that's really what they're looking for. And they know that that you feel heavy for what they're going through. So it's simply you opening up and giving them this platform and allowing them to speak about what they're witnessing, and just simply remembering them, saying their names and remembering them. That for them, you know, is enough. I'm not speaking, you know, for them, but I will say I do feel comfortable speaking on behalf of them, just because I've said this to them so many times over the last 2 years, and that's always been their response. They're incredible human beings. They're so humble, and they don't even see themselves as heroes, even though that they are. So I'll tell Muhammad though, just so that he knows what you said. محمد هي بس كانت عم تقول إنه شو ما حكت هي ما بتحس إنه عم تعبر كفاية على إحساسها تجاهكم، وبتحس إنه وقت اللي هي بتقول الله يحميكم أو البقية بحياتكم، الوقت اللي بتخسروا حدا قريب منكم، إنه هاي الكلمات فاضية، لأنه بتحس إنه شو ما عملت ما بكفي. فأنا كنت عم أقولها إنه هني بيعرفوا إحساسكم تجاههم، وهني بيعرفوا إنه طول ما أنتم عم تناضلوا كرمالهم وعم تفتحوا اللايفات وعم تقرروا العالم شو اللي عم يصير بغزة، إنه هذا شيء كفاية بالنسبة لكم.
So Danny, I'm going to say this real quick based on something you stated earlier, right? When you're saying that we don't have to thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
So even me as a Palestinian, so many of them that are in Gaza that come up and they're like, oh, thank you for consistently speaking on our behalf. Thank you for bringing attention and so on. Me as a Palestinian, right, as if it's not my obligation.
Right.
And I always tell them, you know what I mean? I still am falling short. احنا ناقصين يعني we literally fell short, you know what I mean? Please forgive us, right? احنا مقصرين فيكم, which means we have fallen short in protecting you and literally making even your voice heard.
Right.
So even, you know what I mean? So it's very, very difficult, Danny. But this is what pushes me every morning when I wake up and go to sleep, that they're relying on my voice. There's times where I would literally cut back some of my projects at work because I have to come out and speak on it. And this is, you know what I mean? And I have a whole family, a family of 6 that I'm supporting with, you know?
Right.
So I really do feel like I'm falling short. I really do. But all we can do is continue to go on and continue to make their voices heard. So
right.
That's it.
100%. And, you know, and those of us, I see you and I'm like, yeah, I don't see you falling short. And I think it's just the way that it's the immense amount of pressure that we feel, to make it happen. I know that I just brought Raja up, but it's because I wanted to give him a chance to just be up. Can you let Raja know that I'm coming back in a few hours, that I need to go get my grandbabies?
No problem. رجع هي تبدأ تسجل البث راح ترجع بعد 7-8 ساعات عشان تروح تجيب الأطفال تبعون بنتها. إذا حابب ترجع بعدين أهلا وسهلا, بس هي راح تسجل البث كمان بجوز 5 دقائق. راح تفتح كمان مرة خلال 7-8 ساعات.
ان شاء الله شكرا داني, دائما بنأخرها احفادها واحنا بنحبكم كثير كثير كثير, وان شاء الله دائما متواجدين معها, ولكن للاسف ما قدرتش اتواجد معكم. شبكه الانترنت كانت فاصله وقبل شوي وصلت. اكيد دائما معك. شكرا من القلب لك يا داني. انت حدا من العيله صرتي, يعني متواصل معنا ومهتم فينا اكثر من اقرب الناس لنا بصراحه. والله العظيم تعظيم سلام لك.
So he's saying thank you very much from the bottom of his heart, Danny, for everything that you're doing. He's also apologizing for the fact that we're always making you late to go get your grandkids.
I'm not late.
I know, but that's what he's saying. He's saying that you know, he feels that, you know, you're actually doing more than a lot of people around them, right? People that should be speaking up. So he just wants to show you the deepest gratitude and appreciation. So that's basically what he's saying.
Yeah. You know, it's nothing.
And that's to the chat also, guys. So it's not just directed at Danny, even though Danny's a massive W, but big W to all of you guys as always, because you guys continue to show up day in and day out. It's easy to swipe, right, and go scroll through TikTok and whatever, but you stay, right? You stay and you listen and you're educating yourselves. So massive W to the chat.
If you notice, they know their names. They ask about their children. I sat here last night looking at the screenshots that I snapped of Mohammed OS and his baby yesterday, and Sophia, and we've seen Bilal's children, and so like I think that Raja's children, because you have 4, right, Raja?
عندك 4 أطفال رجع. أكم من أطفال عندك يا
صحيح 4 أطفال.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
4 أطفال بنت و3 أولاد.
There's 1 girl and 3 boys.
Yep, and they're like from teenagers on down to like 4, I believe, 3 or 4.
I believe so, yeah. 14, I think, is the oldest.
Yep, 100%. But this is what I love about the community that we have here is that you know, we know them not just as Palestinian journalists, but by their names and, you know, and their families, and that they are people. And I just sat here last night on my couch and I was looking at you know, the images and things like that, because like it should stay top of mind. It should stay top of mind. It's okay to take a break, right? The girls and I did pottery and painted and all of that because we need that balance in our life, right? And then we got to circle back because the time we are in a critical time. The same way that we are in a critical time in the United States of America, we are in a critical time in Palestine, and the destiny of this world is connected together to the fate of the Palestinian people. I am telling you all, I believe it with every fiber of my being, that it is all connected together, and how we show up for Palestine and for Gaza is going to have a huge impact on what we look like on down the road as a country. And so now is the time where I'm saying it in a really mean way. You better find your fucking humanity. Like literally, that's what I was about to say. You better find your fucking humanity.
Pull stuff off the shelf, put it in your cart, take it to the checkout, pay for it, and fucking live that humanity.
Yes, that was literally me, was find your fucking humanity. And be about the business of making these things happen. So I appreciate you, Hiba. It is great to meet you. I have, yeah, and yeah,
it's an absolute honor to meet you. I love your heart. I know this is the first time, but I'm pretty good at reading people. I get these feelings. It could be because I'm a psych major or, experience, but
yeah,
I can feel the admiration that you have for everyone there.
Yeah.
And the love and compassion that you have. So I definitely appreciate it. I wrote this in the chat. This is such a random thing, but if you talk to Bilal, okay?
Yes.
Ask him if he made them jaddara.
Say it again.
Jaddara. I'm gonna write it in the chat.
Jadra. Jadra.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Jadra.
help.
That's close. Okay. Okay, I got it. Okay.
He used to ask me like every couple of weeks. He'd be like, "What did you cook?" And I'd be like, "Mjaddara," because my middle child loves mjaddara. So
Okay.
he asks me for it every couple of weeks. So it just so happens that every time Bilal asks me, I happen to have made mjaddara. So he's like, "There's nothing else that you can make other than mjaddara." But it's kind of one of those foods that we all make in the Levantine, whether you're in Syria or Jordan or Palestine or Lebanon. It's kind of one of those quick ones that you make. But yeah, that's just a little inside joke.
Do you know the best thing I ever got? So I had a friend of mine years and years and years and years ago that I worked with, and she was dating a guy that was in Jerusalem. And so every time that she would go to visit him, thank you guys for giving Raja the rocket ship, whoever that was. Thank you, Lauren. She would bring me back, and it would be in this tin. And I mean, listen, I did not care, but it was the best baklava ever. And it had the pistachios and everything in it. So like, I don't like the Greek kind where it's all like mushed down. Give me like the real deal. And oh my gosh.
Nice and crispy.
Yes. Oh, I would literally pay her to bring it back every time she went to visit. It was the best. It was the best. So yeah. So I appreciate. There's my buddy. I was wondering if he was. I know. I am gonna have to go in just a second. But hey, I was asking about you. Hella.
الله يسعد قلبك، والله مبسوط جدا. اول ما شفتك قلت لازم اسلم. ودك السوريه وجمل الكفر وكل الدنيا.
تسلم لك. بدها تسألك داني على شغلة. Go ahead, Danny, ask him.
Oh yes. So, oh my gosh. So, Bilal, have you made mjadra, right? Mjadra.
Yeah, عملت مجدرة اليوم ولا لا؟
You made it?
مجادرة.
Yeah.
عملت مجادرة، عملت رز.
Mjadra.
عملت مجادرة هبة.
He's saying Hiba made them مجدرة, not me.
Hiba. That's funny.
ثلاث مرات اسالها شو اكلت اليوم تقول لي مجدرة.
He's saying every time I ask her what she's eating today, she says
mjadra.
So I'm telling you,
Mjadra. Oh, that's so funny. I wrote it down. I'm learning all these little phrases along the way. So I told A Money it's her responsibility to teach me. She's going to teach me Brooklyn Arabic.
Oh yeah, I was about to say it's gonna be definitely. I always tell A Money that your Arabic is legitimately Brooklyn. Like she has a Brooklyn accent speaking in Arabic. It's the cutest thing. I love her Arabic.
She was like, because I was like, I need to learn Arabic, and she was like, I got you, and I was like, okay. And then Sammy was like, who's teaching you Arabic? And I said, A Money, and he was like, because he gives her shit about her Brooklyn Arabic. So yeah, hilarious.
So Danny, can I just do a quick plug if you don't mind?
No, go ahead.
All right, so just unfortunately last night I lost my main, so this is my backup. So I'm gonna try to open up later on today to do a live because I want to talk about the International Association of G-Side Scholars. And yesterday they released the report stating that it is systematically a G-side, and it's the widespread crimes against humanity, war crimes, and G-side, including indiscriminate attacks on civilians and civilian infrastructure, starvation, deprivation of humanitarian aid, water, fuel, sexual and reproductive violence, and forced displacement of nearly 2.3 million Palestinians. It also referenced a lot of the Israeli leaders' statements that they have stated, like we were talking about earlier, Danny, that prove the intent. So this IAGS, guys, look it up. I will be talking in an extent about this.
Yep.
And then I will also be talking about the situation that is actually happening in the West Bank. Because the situation in the West Bank has gotten extremely, extremely bad as well. Obviously not as bad as what's going on in Gaza, but you're welcome, Baba. They are literally taking the West Bank right before our eyes. They are trying to dissolve, which they are dissolving, the Palestinian Authority, which is the governing body in the West Bank. And mind you, again, guys, the Palestinian Authority has been the extension of the Zionist regime, the extension of the IDF throughout all of this, right? Unaliving Palestinians at the commands of the IDF, arresting Palestinians at the hands of the IDF. And the Israeli regime has also, in the last few days, has gone into the West Bank, into Ramallah, among Nablus and Tulkarem, and they have raided the banks, money exchangers, and so on, literally stealing over $5 million of funds. So not only are they trying to dissolve the PA and withholding the funds to the PA, so when you think about that, I'm just going to real quickly, briefly. So this funding, right, basically pays for all the civil defense. It pays for all the teachers. It pays for the garbage men. It pays for literally anything that is paid by the government has been completely cut off. So nobody will be getting their salaries. They have been completely blockaded and put under siege. Water and electricity is being cut off. Before you know it, we will be in the same situation where we will start to see using food and aid as a weapon of war, really, unfortunately. So I want to shed light on that as well, because just as we know, the West Bank, there is no Hamas in the West Bank. There are no hostages. There are no captives. There are no POWs. And they continue to expand and steal Palestinian land. I'm going to be talking about that. So I appreciate the plug. And again, guys, I won't have any guests because I don't have multi-guest access on this live. So it will be me monologuing. You'll have to deal with it for a little bit. But it is a strictly educational live.
Yeah, no worries. I appreciate it. Luna, you wanted to jump in real quick because I got to go.
Okay. DJK, if you want access, message me and you can use mine to put the information out there.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I have to actually try to
build that one up.
I have to do the 3 lives to get that one up because I lost the other one for an entire week. But thank you. I appreciate it, Jeremiah. I appreciate the offer. اتفضل رجب كده يحكي شيء انت ولا بلال هذا ما كان جاري بيحكي. I think so. I thought one of them was trying to speak.
Bilal.
بدي بس اخبر داني انه مش باين عليها انها جدة يعني وعندها احفاد ما شاء الله عليها ومنورة دائما يعني شو مبين عليها انها جدة.
He's saying that you don't look like your grandmother. I mean, he's saying you don't look like a grandmother. He goes, you look absolutely amazing.
Oh, thank you.
And may God protect you and give you health and prosperity always.
Yeah, right back at him. Tell him it don't crack.
I don't think there's an Arabic translation for that one.
Yeah, he is adorable.
Assalamu alaikum.
He said my face is radiant.
Amazing.
Mwah.
Your live was amazing. W, have
Yeah.
coming up. Thank you.
Yes. W, everybody. Love you all so much.
Bye, Danny. I'll see you later.
Okay. Bye, Dr. Emmy. Bye, Bilal.
Go ahead and close up,
Yeah.
Danny.
I got you.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
بلال رجع المخلوقة بدها تسكر بدها ترجع بعد 7 ساعات إذا بتحبوا ترجعوا. Thank
Okay.
you so much for bringing me up. It was an absolute
Yes.
pleasure.
Right back at
Everybody
you.
on the live, you guys are amazing. Thank you so much. You enjoy the rest of your day. Thank
Yep,
you.
you too. Bye, guys. Oh, so much going on. I got to go get babies.